You need to say it. Oh, bite your tongue. You was put in there by the people, and you need to say what the people need to know. I don't care who it is, you don't bite your tongue. You don't bite your tongue. When they disrespect you, you need to say it. Don't bite your tongue. And I got a lot to say tonight about everything.
It's gonna be a late night. Yeah.
They can start shit.
Your hat, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there agendas?
Any agendas for the public? I don't see any, we can follow along? I don't see any. Oh, here they come.
No. Yeah, we're getting agendas printed for everyone. Our apologies on that delay, but they will be coming out shortly. Alright. I do have 3 copies here. I'm just gonna put them in the back. You're ready to have our roll call, please? Yes, Madam President. Good evening, Madam President, members of the public, council. Evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Did we finish all the other stuff? Pledge of allegiance and all that stuff? Yes. My apologies. President Allen. Present. Vice President Hill.
Present.
Councilor Brabham. Present. Councilor Felder.
Present.
Councilor Fleming.
Present.
Councilor Patrick is absent. Councilor Smith is also absent. Mayor Booker.
Present.
Solicitor Miller.
Present.
Treasurer Morgan is present. Engineer Lynch.
Present.
Building Code Official Tartaglia. Police Chief Johnson.
Present.
And Borough Manager Joy Taylor is present. Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. I'd like to inform the public that council met in executive session on July 16th this evening.
We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'd like to inform the public that council met this evening in executive session at 6:10 p.m. to discuss personnel matters, litigation, and personal and confidential matters. First item that we have on our agenda.
Excuse me, Madam President, I'd like to address before we start the agenda.
Certainly.
You want to turn it on? It's good.
I want to address the public. I've been on council for 7 months, and I want to make sure that people know that the person, Tanya Allen, is a very vindictive and very not skilled leader. She hasn't spoken to me and given me any information, whereas when we were on a campaign, I couldn't keep her off my phone, off my text, off my email. Because I disagreed with certain things, especially around personnel matters, which I think that's why I was voted into office for, to have my opinion and not have somebody to initiate what we should do and say. That way we don't have a real council vote. We have a one person making decisions and other people say yay for what she says, and I'm not one to do that. It feels like working with high school kids. It is very vindictive. We're brought into executive meetings, no notice except 24 hours. This is what we received today, after 11, revised after 3, and we're supposed to make governing decisions. If you go back to the videos, I have consistently asked for the last 7 months, can we get to a point where we get this packet of information that we have to make decisions on, and we have to read as we make decisions about your tax dollars, that we have to really govern, deliberate and ask questions. How are we to do that when we receive this kind of information the day of? You don't know what's going to be on the agenda until the day before. They literally just hit the 24-hour mark for breaching the Sunshine Act. And we get this information, and if you ask questions, you get cut off, and she wants it to be seen. So we should ask for our taxpayer dollars, our dollars. I'm also a resident. How are we able to manage and make decisions? If you want to know about services and why we don't have the right ones or the best contracts, because we're making decisions without reading. You tell me who could read this level of information that is served to us the day of. We pay all of the folks who they're calling attendance for. They are staff or contractors. So if we can't get them to submit this information in advance so that we can make decisions, we need to change those contracts. We really need to change it. But I will say that this is a vindictive body. I did not see this from the outside. I would love for her to address that the real reason was we were asked to hire staff in February and we were not given a job description. How do you measure if somebody is qualified for a position without a job description? We had to go by who say, I called this person, they know this person, this is a good person, so you know them. But if I have to make a decision for the residents of this borough, we should have had a job description. And that was the turning point for my participation on this board. And I knew that night afterwards, because the librarian, Mr. Ashby, repeated it, that she was going to show me and isolate me, and I called her on it. So she is very vindictive. She can't tell me what to do. I have a brain. I can make decisions, but I cannot vote on your behalf or make decisions. Getting this kind of paperwork the day of a meeting. This is not governing. This is not governing. So I don't care one way or the other. I run my own business. So you want to see that? I run my own business. But this is ridiculous. I asked, could we have a conversation about something brought up about a resident? If somebody, whether they're elected or not, if it's another paid position, we're paying up to 6 figures for a part of a contract. I believe this borough has to have full-time focus on Sharon Hill Borough for the monies that we spend. So you can show that on the camera. You wanted it to be seen. Folks need to know that she is fake. She courted me, asked me to run, and then she turned and tried to get the rest of the people to turn on me. I really don't care, but I wanted to say it on the record.
The first item on our agenda this evening is a recognition of achievement for Sharon Hill firefighter John Croce III. Councilor Felder.
I'm turning.
Well, before I get narrative with the certificate, I want to thank you, man. Thank you for being a firefighter. And also congratulate you for finishing high school and doing your way to college.
I finished college.
Oh, you finished. Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I have a certificate. I have a certificate of achievement. This certificate of achievement is presented to John Croce III in recognition of service to Sharon Hill Borough as a firefighter while achieving your bachelor's of science in project and supply chain management from the Penn State University, and it's signed by Chief Boswell, Tanya Allen, President of the Borough. My name is on it, William Feld as the fire liaison, and Edward Booker, who is the mayor. So this is presented to you for
Would you like to share with the public anything about your achievement or your next steps? Yeah.
That's why I'm talking, I see his shyness, but
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You got your non-card. Thank you.
John, if you're watching, I know you're proud. I know your dad's away, but you know I know he's proud of you. So you know, I'll give him a buzz later on and tell him how great you are.
Thank you.
John, how you doing? Congratulations. I'm right here, Councilman Hill. Congratulations to you. I've been in supply chain for 26 years, and it's a lot of work in that field. It's a great field, but congratulations to you. That's a big achievement.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we will start our committee updates. And we'll begin with mine. I'd like to share about Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners. A couple months ago, Council, I did inform you that our treasurer, who is one of the board members from Norwood, is retiring. And so the Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners had to go outside and seek a new treasurer, which would result in additional fees for Chester Pike Partners to be covered by the individual municipalities. So we will see that on the upcoming bills list. The increase is $92. We didn't know at the time when I shared it a couple months ago because we were interviewing, and we interviewed 8 different firms and landed on the lowest one, which offered the services for $460 per month, which equals a $92 increase for Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners. When we first started, I was the treasurer for Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners, and that's when we had very little money and we were receiving small grants. And so once we started getting into larger grants and applying for different things and having to manage large amounts of money, the treasurer became the representative from Norwood, who is bonded and capable of doing that. But now since he's retiring, we did have to go outside to get a new treasurer for the board. So sharing that update. Also, as an offshoot of the Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners, there is the 5-borough Main Street program. So as you know, 6-borough Main Street program. As you know, Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners is 5 boroughs. However, there are 6 boroughs in this project because Fallcroft is a partner in this. Fallcroft is not a member of the Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners, but for us to do this Main Street program, we needed to include all the boroughs down Chester Pike, and they are partnering with us for this. So you will see council and residents Sharon, these signs around town, and I do ask that you scan the QR code and take the survey. This is going to inform how the Main Street program will shape up in terms of businesses and walkability, pedestrian safety, vehicular safety, and facade improvements and changes. So you'll see these around, and as for your feedback, will shape a 5-year plan to strengthen local businesses, enhance public spaces, and support long-term economic growth. So please take the survey when you see it around town. We're here at the Borough. We'll have lawn signs outside as well. Any questions from you on Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners? Okay. I will share on behalf of our library director, Mr. Richard Ashby Jr., the library report. Counselors, it is in the packet. I will share just the highlights of it though. Staff development continues to be a priority. We're pleased to welcome a new children's program specialist who has spent her first 2 weeks becoming familiar with the Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and national standards and best practices in youth services. Her dedication to learning and preparation will greatly enhance the quality of programming we offer to children and families. Through the Project WIN program of the Delaware County Intermediate Unit, we welcome the technology specialist who has been instrumental in strengthening our technology services. He has resolved a variety of technical issues, developed computer gaming opportunities for patrons, and assists with maintaining and promoting the library's social media presence through Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And just as a reminder, that gentleman that we got through Project Win is the person who I met, a citizen of the borough who works for DCIU, and asked if we had any opportunities. So that work was able to come together, and it's been very fruitful for the borough and the library. We are equally proud to partner with the Youth Advocacy Program of Delaware County, which has placed 4 youth participants in the library. These young people have quickly become valuable members of our team, assisting as pages, reception staff, while receiving hands-on training in all aspects of library operations. Another exciting collaboration is our participation in Feed Philly Now, a community food initiative that provides free lunches to members of our community. Our Fruits of the Spirit community garden continues to flourish and has become a wonderful gathering place for residents. We extend our sincere appreciation to Ms. Sandra Holcomb for her generous donations and continued support of the garden. Her contributions have helped the garden thrive and strengthen community engagement. And this summer, the library is also enjoying six youth workers through a grant-funded employment program. These students are gaining valuable work experience while supporting daily library operations. In addition, we launched our Summer Youth Enrichment Program, made possible through a grant secured by the library director. And then Mr. Ashby includes that on a professional front, he had the honor of representing Sharon Hill Public Library at the American Library Association's annual conference, where he delivered 3 presentations and was appointed to serve on several additional American Library Association committees. These opportunities will allow our library to continue to contribute to national conversations while bringing new ideas, resources, and best practices back to our community. And then the July library statistics: library visitors 1,876, copies made 615, faxes sent and received 312. And that's the library report. Yeah, Ms. Ashby is traveling. If we have any questions, we can direct them back to him. Okay, yeah.
I'd like to thank the Sharon Hill Library, Mr. Ashby, for taking in we had did a donation for food donation for the community. It was altogether like, I think, 68 bags of food from Grocery Outlet. They partnered with the borough, and we dropped all of the, our borough manager and Highway made sure, and thank y'all too, made sure that all of the bags of food got to the library and residents was able to come in and pick up food. But I had asked Grocery Outlet to, they had told me about it, but I didn't put the connection together. But I told them, when the next one coming up, please let me know, and I make sure that everybody in the community knows about it, because it was some good stuff in those bags. But I still wanted to bring it up, just letting our residents know that we won't continue to try to partner with a lot of our neighboring businesses in the community. So Grocery Outlet, just so y'all know, like, even the residents can go in and say, hey, we're doing this event and we want to do a fundraiser, and they will partner with you to do a fundraiser. So what will happen is customers that come into the store, they would donate a certain amount of money, and then let's say they donate $5, and they would bag up $5 worth of food, or if it's $10, they would do that, and then at the once the bags reach a certain level, they would then get picked up and disperse them out in the community. But next time I will be super uber on point with that. But I just wanted to just bring that up because I want to do it again. And thank you, Madam President, too, for jumping on that, because I had no idea where all those bags were going to go. He's like, oh, let's do the library. So thank you for everyone that was involved. But next time I'll be better with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hill. Are there any questions for me regarding the library that I can take back? And the last thing I wanted to do, I just wanted to thank the residents of Sharon Hill for participating in our 4th of July celebration. While we did have to pivot due to the National Weather Service warnings regarding the heat, we did have a wonderful fireworks display that Delaware County as a whole has been talking about. And so I'm glad for those that were able to come out and enjoy it. I did hear from some residents who didn't come out to the parking lot but enjoyed them from their homes. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who did come out. Thank you to our Sharon Hill Police Department and our officers who danced with us and had a good time. I also did want to do a special thank you to Chief Joe Bourgeois of the fire company, because we use a very safe and reputable fire company, but he manages the connection with the fireworks company, works with the shooters, deploys companies around the neighborhood in case anything happens, and treats it with the highest security measures and safety measures. So I did want to thank him for that, and then also for his work yesterday with providing a shelter in place as we had a air quality emergency due to the chemical fire in the neighborhood. So I wanted to just thank Chief Bourgeois for his work. And that is all that I have. Council, are there any questions for me?
Just one comment. I am really a great person for party. Party hard, work hard. But I am glad we are moving into the budgeting period, because while fireworks are nice, our roads are deplorable. People have been complaining. I wonder if we should prioritize governing and getting our borough together versus all the events that we're spending money on.
Any other questions from you, Council, or comments? Okay. All right, thank you. Moving along, Vice President Hill, Recreation.
Thank you, Madam President. I do want to thank, everyone that, came out to the 4th of July celebration. We had a great time. I would like to thank our Sharon Hill Police Department and Sharon Hill Fire Engine for coming out and helping out as well, and our highway, and thanking our borough manager for helping in the office behind the scenes with everything. I mean, there were a lot of people that I saw out there that lived in the community that I didn't know that lived in the community, so it was good to see that. And that's what's good about having these events. They're like family fun events. With that being said, we are Jalen Duran Summer Basketball League Skills and Drills Clinic is approaching. We start this weekend, so I'm very excited about that. We start on Sunday, July 19th. We have 127 players that signed up, so we doubled our numbers from last year, which means that we're going to have maybe about 12 to 13 teams. We have some really great mentors. We call them mentors instead of calling them coaches. We have some really great mentors that are going to be coming in and guiding these players. It's a really family fun, clinic. So anybody from the residents can come out, and watch the games, watch the clinic. We will be at Academy Park High School gym, July 19th, July 26th, August 2nd, August 9th, which is my birthday, August 16th, from 11:30 to 2 o'clock. All of those dates are on Sundays. We do have information up online where people can read. So, and then we're going to have on August 22nd, which is the last day, we call it the grand finale, is where we have a family fun event where we have an all-star game happening with all of the players. Jalen Derwin, he brings out some of his NBA friends. I'm not sure who he's going to have coming out this year, but they just come out and they play with the players. And we have free food for the players. And even if some of the children didn't play in the league, they get to eat free as well. and those ages go from up 0 to 14, that's the age that we stop in terms of the players. I'd like to thank Lagos Grill for their donation and helping out as far as the food is concerned. I would also like to thank Mayor Booker for his donation, and he was able to get 7 players who couldn't afford to play now. And I'd like to thank Councilman Felder for his donation and helping 7 players come in that they could not afford it. Even though we have these low fees, they still couldn't afford it. Times is hard nowadays. So every little penny counts. So I would like to thank you two gentlemen for helping me. And I also would like to thank Councilman Patrick for working with Home Depot and their donation with them coming in to help out on August 22nd. And I also would like to thank Snipes Sneaker Store as well for their donation. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. I would say for August 22nd, our grand finale, that starts around like 12:31. The All-Star game starts around 4, but I would say come out, bring your family, bring your lawn chairs, bring your blankets. It really is, we really have a nice time out there. And I don't know if any of you residents out there have been to one of the Jalen Duran Family Fun Day, but it really is nice. We have food trucks, there's game, people having fun. It's amazing. So, yeah. So yeah, that's the end of my report.
Are there any questions for VP Hill?
Councilman Hill,
Yes.
how many of the 127 players are from Sharon Hill?
That's a great question. 127. So out of 127, what I counted about maybe 50. And that number was very low the first 3 weeks when we advertised. I was nervous. I mean, even the year before, we've been doing it for about 4 years. I would say the first 3 years, we had low numbers for players here in the borough. I say we was around like 20, 18, somewhere like that, right? But this year it was a rampage. We got about like 50, which is great, because a lot of, and I do it too as a resident of Sharon Hill. My son, he played in other places, and I know a lot of the players that play football here, basketball, a lot of them play in a lot of other places because of the different programmings and so forth and so on. Everybody have their own way of how they want or where they want their child to play because of visibility. But yeah, got about 50. Yeah.
I just want to say for the record, I think you have proven to be a very strong leader, regardless of what President Allen told me about you when she recruited me. Because her idea was that I would take your place and she would get you off this board.
Oh, yeah. Put it out.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Councilman Hill? All right. Next item on our agenda is Councilor Brabham for Shaq. All right, Patrick, Brabham,
Good evening, residents of Sharon Hill, council members.
evening.
Good evening.
Okay, Shaq, we will be having, line dancing, and I went up there and grabbed the flyers. Okay, we're doing line dancing on July 25th at Reader Wax, okay? And that'll be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The flyers are in the bag. Okay, you can also grab, we have the flyer that has, everyone's information on there. So you have 2 opportunities to get the information. All right, please, as usual, register via email to Shaq@SharonHillBorough.com. Our yoga and strengthening, and I'm sorry, line dancing is with Vonda. So those of you who do a lot of line dancing, you have run across her or you've done it with her, she will be our instructor that evening. We will have a good time. We always do with her. And then next, next is the yoga and strengthening, which will begin on Wednesday, July 29th. That lasts for 6 weeks, meaning 6 Wednesdays, okay? And that will start at 7 p.m. And that flyer is also on the back. It's beautiful. This is Trina Lyons, and she also is very prevalent in this area. Many people know her. She's excellent. And she will be teaching our yoga and strengthening. And that is for all ages, okay? It's for everyone. And then our next flea market is August 1st. And that will be at the Memorial Park here off of Chester Pike, 1210 Chester Pike. And once again, please register at SharonHillBorough.com. All right, and spaces are $25 a piece for one space, $40 for two. And remember, please register and come on down here to the borough to make the payment or send in a money order. And I will leave our historical commission information till a little bit later. It is later on the agenda. And that is my report.
Thank you, Councilor Brabham. Any questions for Councilor Brabham on check?
Y'all don't have a DJ? Oh man, I may have to come on and take this line dance class. Get my gotta keep my model figure.
That's right. Dust off those dancing shoes. Go on. I want to see your moves.
Well, the only one issue that I have is why we don't have them shirts? That's a nice
Oh my
shirt.
goodness, I can't believe I forgot the sack shirt.
Like all of us.
Oh my goodness. Elaine, please stand up. Elaine Bundy is wearing our sack shirt from.
That is nice.
Oh my
that
goodness.
is nice. Is that the new logo?
Yes, it is. That is our new logo. You will see it at the line dancing event on the 25th. You're going to see our banner hanging. And,
Wow, that is
and I hope
nice.
everyone comes out and enjoys it. That's right.
I want my shirt.
Everyone can see it. On the back, you see we got the back. All right, you're going to be able to find us, okay? And on the front,
Oh, you need a QR code on the back.
right. We're working on that. It was an option.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So where are we waiting for our shirts?
Of course, $12 a piece.
All right. Take food stamps?
They're not free.
No, they are not.
Take food stamps?
We can negotiate on this right now.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is Councilor Felder for Public Works and Sharon Hill Fire Company.
I have the Sharon, good evening, Sharon Hill. I have the Commonwealth Code Enforcement Borough Sharon Hill Code Report for June 2026. Category inspections, rental licenses issued 38. Revenue collected $5,000. Rental re-inspection, there were 6. Resale inspection, 47. Revenue collected, $8,450. Transfer re-inspections, 3. Annual commercial inspections, 0. Total inspection, revenue collected for that category, $13,450. Permits. Permits applied, permit applications reviewed, there were 49. Permits issued, 31. Revenue collected, $22,324. Permits pending, there are 16. Permits fees that were doubled, there were 1. Revenue collected, $424.50. Permits tentatively approved, 6. Permits denied, 2. Stop work orders that were issued, 8. Tickets that were issued, 58. Revenue collected, $1,450. Total revenue collected for permits was $24,198.50. For the whole total report for the month, revenue collected, $37,648.50. And that concludes the code report. I have the fire report. I have to bring it up. Oh, it's in there because I just had it.
He went down to school with fire. I thought you were gonna do fire first, that's all I put in.
I have the June 2026 Fire Chief Report. Upcoming events, none. Notes. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are available for residents of Sharon Hill free of charge. 2 smoke detectors and 0 carbon monoxide detectors were handed out. We are currently out of carbon monoxide detectors, and our smoke detector stock is running low. Please keep fire hydrants on your property free of obstructions, including vegetation and snow during the winter. Needs, there were none. Safety measures, check your batteries in your smoke and CO detectors. Close your bedroom doors at night. This will prevent smoke and fire from entering the room, giving you more time to escape. And this was submitted respectfully by Fire Chief Joe Bourgeois. Fire Chief report. Total incidents responded to, there were 55. Total time in service, 21 hours and 36 minutes. The average personnel responding, 3. Incidents in Sharon Hill. Automatic smoke alarms, 3. Gas leaks, 1. Assist EMS, 3. Vehicle accidents, there were 4. Vehicle fires, 1. Building fires, 2. Wires down, 1. Carbon monoxide alarms, 1. Wires down, 1. Service calls, there were 3. Total incidents in Sharon Hill, there were 20. Assists given and assists received. Darby Borough, we assisted them 3 times, they assisted us 4. Fallcroft Borough, we assisted them 8 times, they assisted us 7. Upper Darby Township, 0 on both incidents. Holmes Fire Company, Ridley Township, we assisted them 0, they assisted us 3. Lansdowne Borough, we assisted them 3 times, they assisted us no times. Norwood Borough, we assisted them once, they assisted us no time. Glen Olin Borough, we assisted them 11 times, they assisted us 7. Darby Township, we assisted them 2 times, they assisted us 2 times. Collingdale Borough, we assisted them 4 times, they assisted us 3. Yeadon Borough, we assisted them 2 times, they assisted us 0. Clifton Heights Borough, we assisted them once, they assisted us 0. And Manoa, Havertown, both times 0. Total incidents of assistance and assisting others were 35. And that concludes my code report and fire chief report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Felder. Any questions for Councilor Felder?
I have two. Councilman Felder, thank you for the report. Are there any trends that we should be aware of in terms of the code enforcement report you gave? And can you let us know whether we're on track for the amount of revenue we anticipated in this budget period for those code violations?
You want to know what information for code?
Are there any trends? You read a lot of numbers. Are there any trends that we should be aware of?
Okay. I think, well, I think as the inspectors go out, these are trends. Now, if you want to know a cumulative effect over a quarter month or half a month, or how I go from year to year, that can be compiled. I can ask that he give me that information, but the information he gives is information of people that's actually working, that they catch, inspections that people apply for, and the revenue that's collected. So I need to know a specific of what you are looking for.
So trends usually account for 2 or more periods where you're looking at whether things are moving up or down. And because we anticipate revenue from codes, the second part of that question is, are we on track for collecting that amount of revenues that we would need for those trends?
If I may, later on in the presentation, you will see what was budgeted and what we're actually collecting as it relates to permits and fees. So you'll see trending where we are presently as opposed to what we budgeted for based on average collections. So you will see that during the finance presentation. And also to couple that, I'll say that in the reports, the packets are very lengthy, but as most of you know, the attachments are things that are related to reports for personnel that we have that are actually going out doing boots on the ground type work. So with that being said, if you look in your packet, you'll also see that there are trends as it relates to permits. So you'll see that we have a significant amount of building permits and renovation permits over utility permits, for example. Now, he doesn't classify them in that way, but every package that you receive, and the reason I make sure that all of that information is in there for you is so that you know how our vendors are tabulating the amount of revenue that we're collecting based on permits issued as a whole, but then he goes in and he itemized them, if you will, based on the type of permit that's being requested along with the address. And those are going to be subject to whether a homeowner is doing improvements on their property or if there is road work in the street. So I just wanted to provide that context. That information is in your packets, and we will get into a monetary breakdown during the treasurer's report.
Thank you so much, Borough Manager. But Mr. Felder.
Your mic's off. Your mic's off. Your mic is off.
Plus, there are individual indicators in the report, but I don't give that report. If you look in what the Commonwealth submitted, he has it all mapped out by street, house number, addresses, and he got it logged in on what he found at each one of those residents or whatever the issue was. He coded it, and when he do his report, I get what I need in terms of inspections, ticket violations, and things like that. I get those things in the report. He compiles that report. So I get what he gives me that the borough needs to give to the public. And when you come to the budget, you can see what we budget actual and what we actually get from the revenue that's collected from them doing the work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I only ask because I realize that it's very hard And originally, I used to say, why is he reading this word for word? But being here 7 months now and getting all this stuff the day of, I understand why you have to read it word for word. And I don't think you are so weak as President Allen told me when she recruited me, that when she wanted to get you off the board also.
Are there any other questions for Councilor Felder? Councilor Felder, thank you for your report. Councilor Smith is not present this evening, however, Solicitor Millers, would you like to just share an update?
Sure. Councilor Smith and I met several times here at Borough Hall to work on to finalize the edits to the employee handbook. I know we've been saying this for a long time. As a retired English teacher, she had some extraordinary input, made me feel like I was back in the classroom. But I can assure you, we are trying to implement the employee badge and the ID policy, a couple other items that need to be incorporated. We need to find the right areas to place it, but she said, I'd say we're 95% cleared, and we should have something for consideration at the next meeting.
Any questions for our solicitor on the personnel update he shared?
Yes, Solicitor, how close would you say we are to, like, wrapping this up? I mean, I know a handbook and
Sure.
there's always updates and stuff like that.
That's what we're running into, right?
Yeah.
And a personnel issue occurs, it makes it so you can't prepare for every hypothetical, so we're trying to get as close as we can. I think the longest process of this all will be for council to fully review it. I would say if we shoot for a completion date of August 1st, that would give council 2.5 to 3 weeks to fully review it. It's not entertaining reading. It's probably 80 pages.
Right.
Some of it is cumbersome. So I would request and appreciate a timely review, which would certainly speed up the finalization process as indicated.
Thank you.
Thank you, VP. Any other questions for our solicitor on the updates of personnel? Okay, thank you. And I don't have a Southeast Elko School Board, School District update on behalf of Council Patrick. So we'll now move to our officials updates. Mayor Booker.
Greetings, everyone. For starters, there was no Darby Creek Joint Authority meeting today, this week. They postponed their meeting until August. I will be moving over to a monthly report for the police chief. The honorable members of Borough Council, Sharon Borough Police Department respectfully submits the following report outlining police activity and departmental operations for the month of May 2026. During the month of May, police department responded to 649 calls for service through the borough. Officers remain proactive and patrol operations, traffic enforcement, criminal investigations, and community safety initiatives while continuing to provide professional service and residents and visitors. Criminal activities and investigations. Reported criminal activities for the month include 4 criminal arrests, 1 assault investigation, 1 burglary investigation, 33 domestic relations incidents, 4 theft investigations, 1 armed robbery investigation, 1 narcotics related offense. Officers' investigation continue to monitor criminal activity, trends, and work diligently to address quality of life concerns and maintain public safety within the borough. Patrol operations and public safety. Patrol officers handle a significant number of service calls related to proactive patrol functions, including 49 alarms, 48 medical assists, 11 assists for other agencies, 149 building checks. The department continues to emphasize proactive patrol measures and visible police presence throughout the residence and business districts. Traffic enforcement. Traffic and safety enforcement remains an ongoing priority. During May, officers conducted enforcement traffic safety initiatives resulting in 24 traffic stops, 20 traffic citations issued, 16 motor vehicle accidents investigated, 8 abandoned vehicle complaints handled, and 40 parking tickets issued. These enforcement efforts are intended to improve roadway safety and reduce traffic violations and address parking concerns within the borough. In closing, the Sharon Police Department remains committed to protecting the community through proactive policing and professional service and continued collaboration with borough officials and residents. Respectfully submitted, Sharon Johnson, Interim Police Chief. And now I will cover the fun part. Yesterday we had our sewing club, which was a blast. I'd like to thank Councilwoman Fleming, Dr. Fleming, for starting up the Facebook page. It is pretty awesome. We are getting more people joining up, and it's more of a blast, an opportunity to just come out and learn. It's open to everyone. The best part about it is all you have to do is show up. You know, be present, have a blast, and laugh. It's an opportunity open for everyone. And one other item, on July 31st at 6 p.m. in Weeder Wax Field, our wonderful resident Kayla will be having a movie night. So come on, feel free to bring your chairs. If there is a change of venue based on weather or such, we'll keep you posted on the borough website. We don't know yet. That's the mystery. Wow, it's a mystery. Who knows what it could be? It could be a comedy. It could be for children. Who knows? All right. Any questions? Oh, jeez. Almost forgot another fun activity for wonderful guys and gals. National Night Out, Tuesday, August 4th, 6 p.m. to 8, Academy Park High School. Come on. It's a blast. Come have some fun. We'll hang with the guys. Get to know your officers. They're your family, your friends. There's one thing that I feel like is a missing link sometimes the community is understanding that these officers, they go home just like you. And the thing is, they want to be here to serve you as well. They want to be friends. They want to come to you and actually be able to resolve problems. They don't come looking for conflict. They look to resolve your conflict. They actually desire to be your allies, which is something that we might not see on the world news stage, but it's something I know from the guys' hearts. They come with the desire to want to have peace with you and try to help resolve whatever we can so you guys can live a wonderful life. So that's it for me. Any questions?
Yeah, I was looking at you read the report.
Yes.
And you said, how many traffic stops you said?
24?
We have 25. So it was like you were off numbers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure what.
Whoa. Okay, so let me give you a correction. There was a mild mistake.
Okay.
And that was totally on me. I actually, we'll discuss it later, but
yeah.
I'll reintroduce those numbers to you. Criminal arrest was 6, assault investigations 1, burglary investigations 1, domestic related incidents 36, 5 theft investigations, 1 narcotic related offense, 3 individuals taken into custody on outstanding criminal warrants. For patrols, there are 31 alarms, 69 medical assists, 14 assists for other police agencies, 143 building checks. For traffic, there was 25 traffic stops, 20 traffic citations issued, 21 motor vehicle accident investigated, 11 abandoned vehicle complaints handled, 48 parking tickets issued. And my apologies, I was actually calculating the trends and got the numbers off. In particular, there is a roughly, let me look at this number, a 3% trend increase in parking tickets. And there was a, related to domestic related incidents, there was a, technically a 1% increase. It was like 1 to 2, so. That's all in all as far as the numbers I've seen is comparatively from last month.
And my last,
sure.
So I wanted to know, will we be expecting, the council, will we be expecting any, like, reports? I know I had asked before, and
with the listing from month to month?
Yeah, like when something happens, we normally get reports in our emails, council.
Yes.
So we haven't got them in a minute.
Okay, I'll have a conversation with Chief Johnson. We have a meeting later on tonight, so we'll go over that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I have, I just want to say how blessed I feel to have our mayor. I think he's one of the most mild-mannered people I know, and he really contributes and just stepped in for the sewing class. And I think he has really been a neutral person up on this stand And while I know President Allen didn't have any confidence in his leadership, when she asked him to run for mayor, but her idea was that over her dead body, she was gonna let Sheila Carter be the mayor of this town, so she needed someone to fill that slot. I just want people to know what we're dealing with, and when someone puts somebody else, just know that they sling those knives both ways.
Are there any other questions for Mayor Booker?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. So you're up.
Thank you, Madam President. Quite a few items later on the agenda. We're willing to answer any questions as necessary. I did meet with Councilor Fleming twice to go over the Public Health Commission ordinance, which I believe we have tailored, whittled down some information. It looks excellent and near ready from our perspective. Council's reviewing that currently, and again, that was authorized for advertising last month and could be presented for council consideration next month. I did receive the updated Shack logo as seen on Ms. Bundy's shirt. Very, very neat indeed, I must say. So I am looking into some local Pennsylvania trademark protections. I know there's some issues with that in the past. The federal process is expensive and lengthy, and I think the Pennsylvania trademark would serve its purpose. So I'm gonna get the ball rolling on that application, and then you'll be in the system, fully recognized and protected, and able to put it on any flyers or whatever, whichever you prefer.
Thank you.
Other than that, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Any questions for our solicitors? Do you have a question? No? Okay. All right, moving along, interim chief Sharon Johnson, please, Chief Sharon Johnson.
Good evening. Traffic calming is still the same on Chester Pike. We're trying to increase our traffic stops for moving violations as well as equipment violations. Parking tickets, as Mayor stated, are up for this month. Abandoned cars are up, and as I brought to you guys last month with that system in the Excel file, which I have, which is readily available if anybody wants a copy, I can email it to you. So you guys, sorry. So you guys can see that as it's happening in real time. We've had, let me see here. I don't know if I brought it with me, but I will email it out to you guys as far as what was towed, removed prior to us needing to tow it, and making contact with the owners of these problematic vehicles to the point where they're taking care of it on their own rather than us having to remove those vehicles. Speed studies, I also have that for you guys as well. I was having issues with the software that runs the radar that goes on the poles that tracks the vehicles coming down the streets. I was able to get a certain portion of the report for certain blocks. So far, there's absolutely 2 areas that I think would be good for temporary speed bumps. Both of those surround the schools. So, the placement of the temporary speed bumps, I would say temporary during the school year, and then we can move them to focus on other locations outside of the school year, maybe towards parks, but definitely the 100 block of Barker Avenue and the 100 block of Ridley due to the close proximity of the schools. To wrap it up, you guys already touched on it, National Night Out, August 4th, 6 to 8, please come out. I do want to let you guys know that an organization located in Delaware County named Delco Has Your Six dropped off pizza at the police department yesterday for the guys working, along with our administrative assistant, Jill. That was great, so I'd like to recognize them. And that's my report for June.
Thank you, Chief. I have a question about the speed studies.
Yes.
So there were, and I'm not certain if you had received it, but there was a list of other streets where residents had requested that they want speed bumps, so we start with the speed study. Did you get that list?
I have that list. I don't know, this thing's really. I have that list, so those streets are coming up. As I stated, there was an issue with the software. The company's doing it remotely, updating it so we can get it back online. Again, there was a concerned citizen that I had made contact with, reached out to via email and phone, gave me the address that he would like the machine at, and that was the last place that was placed. And it went down, I would say, so the batteries on that machine worked for 14 days, and then they need to be taken down and recharged. I got 98% of 14 days. I have the results of that, and we can go from there. I would like to preface that with, I understand everybody's concerned if they have children and they live on the street and they may think the street's the busiest street in the world. This is raw data, black and white numbers, and it may not be the case. So I don't know if everybody's going to be happy with the results that this machine's putting out, but it's hard raw data, and it's yes or no.
Okay. If you get it working or you are able to extract that data, if we could maybe, meet and move whatever we can ahead of the next meeting, just because I don't want us to miss the season of road work if there are streets that we should take consideration to.
And I absolutely agree with you, and the timeline that I was given, the issue was reported Tuesday. They told me by Monday we should be back online without any issues.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions for the chief?
Yeah, just two. So first is any update on the cameras for the park?
I do not have the update on the cameras. I know that there's 2 final vendors, and we're trying to get the numbers to match with our money.
Yeah, because I know the last meeting when I brought it up, it was the same thing with the
Yes,
vendors.
sir.
So I'm not sure what it's going to take to kind of like close out on that, but I'm sure we'll bring it together soon. I think I asked about it at least about 5-6 times. Nothing on you though, Chief. You walked into this, but the other thing is I think what's happening is too, like when you mentioned that the residents will they probably be disappointed because they think their street is the busiest street. That is true. But I feel the reason why we are saying that as residents because we see these drivers continue to run these stop signs. I mean, they just go through them now.
Yes.
Especially on Popular, where there's a bunch of children playing, Popular, Bartlett, they just run those stop signs. There's no, and I think even if we had, I'll tell you about this part because, this is live and I don't want people to, but I'll tell you about, even if we had a situation, I think that would kind of help with running those stop signs, but I'll talk to you afterwards.
Absolutely. And there was a resident that came to the department, and if anybody wants to do this or call and leave a voicemail, they're more than welcome. This lady came in, gave the intersection she was concerned of. We ran out, not that day, but when time allowed and call volume allowed, we went out and we focused on that intersection and we wrote 12 traffic citations. So I'm not in disagreement that people just totally disregard, traffic safety as far as the stop signs, red lights, yellow lights, speed limit. I totally understand all of that. Unfortunately, we can't be in every place at one time. So we are trying to, and that's what this speed machine allows us to do, is it will also print out times for enforcement when traffic is heaviest, and there is, I don't want to say traffic as congestion, but most travel at times and dates, and then that allows us to analytically go to that location and say, this is when we are going to be most busy, and we can handle this from there.
Right. Thank you.
Chief, I just wanted to go back because I did not capture the 2 street recommendations you made. I wrote down Barker
and Ridley, the 100 block.
And then also, and it didn't occur to me before, but the Delaware County Planning Department has a quick bill going on for Sharon Hill School. And so, were you,
Coates.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a meeting today that I couldn't attend, but Borough Manager attended in Sharon. but, we can probably use some Ridley
Absolutely.
in that as well, so. Ridley, 100 block of Ridley and Barker, so we'll take those recommendations away and, maybe have our street engineer, our, traffic engineer.
And that was for temporary, and I only say temporary because I think cost and effect, if it's temporary and they're there during the school year when the foot traffic's highest, and then they would be removed at the end of the school year, moved to a different location that would require temporary speed bumps during the summer and then move back. That's just my opinion, but I'm not a traffic engineer. I did want to address one more thing. We spoke, and I have that report
Oh, the
that's
trends report.
cumulative,
Okay.
so I can get that to you as well.
Awesome, I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chief Johnson? All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Treasurer, good evening.
Good evening, Madam President, Council. I will read.
I do apologize, Madam Engineer.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, Council. Since the quick build was just discussed, is this working? Okay. Since the quick build was just discussed, I'll start with that. Madam Borough Manager and I had a meeting today with the county, with PennDOT, and some representatives from the school district regarding that traffic calming at Calcon Hook and Coates. The location was selected because it is near the schools, Academy Park High School and Sharon Hill Elementary. I think there'll be a really good opportunity for Sharon Hill to evaluate how these things work. The idea is so the county got a grant. So it's fully funded by the county, but it'll evaluate how these temporary measures kind of help to slow the travel. What the county indicated was when they did the site visit, people were blowing stop signs. Even when people were in the middle of the intersection, the crossing guard was in the middle of the intersection, people were just driving around them. So it's definitely a need. And like I said, the idea is they're temporary measures. They expect Sharon Hill Public Works to help install them, so there is some onus on us to help with the installation, the maintenance of them, but essentially they're flexible poles that will go in. They'll paint curb lines in, they'll engage the community and the schools to help with the painting, and there'll be pretty things on the street that will help people kind of avert that area. Instead of cutting the corner too quickly, they'll kind of have to, their eyesight will kind of have to drive around the painting. Again, flexible poles we put in, what they call armadillo humps. They're just little humps that are right off the ground. If that tire hits it, you're gonna know it. So it will kind of hinder people from speeding through the intersection. Again, the idea is it's temporary to start. If it works, then it would be on us to kind of look for grants to perform more permanent measures, to put in permanent curbs, kind of install other things, maybe rain gardens with the curbs, stuff around there that would be a more permanent measure. But it just kind of gives us an indication of, will it work? What areas do we want to identify, like you said, for speeding, for other dangerous intersections? I think the county picked a great one because it is in between two schools. PennDOT seems amenable to helping with some of the ADA ramps. They're not up to code in that area, which they should be. So I think overall it was a successful meeting. The idea is, Madam Borough Manager and I were sent the temporary design. It's kind of a schematic rendering for now, but to disperse it to council, have council look it over, and have any comments that you might have back to them by the end of the month. So 7/31 is what they're asking for. So that gives you about 2 weeks to review it and see if you have any questions, concerns, or comments that you want to implement before they do a hard design. And again, temporary measures, but they have to put a design in place with, dimensions and where to put everything.
And Susan, while you're on that point, it was not included in the packet because I had already had so many things come in late. I didn't want to add that in. I will send that separately. Remember, that meeting happened today.
Yeah.
So I was not able to give it to you until they sent it to me, and it was
didn't send
well
it till
after
about
4
Yeah.
when they sent it. So that is why you don't have it, but you will receive it. Another thing I would like to add while we're on this conversation, I know that council has addressed me on several occasions in regards to the stop signs at that location. We spoke specifically and exclusively about those stop signs because on Calcon Hook, that is a state road. So we cannot just put stop signs up there. They have to be approved by PennDOT. If you notice, 2 of the signs do have a PennDOT insignia on them, so they have to be approved by PennDOT. We had an extensive conversation about what happened to that second one that have been presented in question. The reason I did not have our team put a stop sign there is because I knew we needed to have a conversation with PennDOT first. So I did reach out to Susan, I engaged her, and we brought that up today. And a part of this project and the improvements, hopefully we will get, well, we probably will get, well, I'm gonna be positive here. We are gonna get that ADA accessible upgrade at that intersection. And if PennDOT determines that an additional stop sign is required on Calcon Hook, we will get that from PennDOT. Any additional stop signs or signage on Coates would be on the borough. So I just want to make sure that we are clear on that, but I don't think that Coates was an issue, but I know Calcon Hook was. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that that was a part of the conversation. We're not able to put a sign up at present. There is one on the other side, and hopefully we'll get a response soon. Thank you, Susan.
Was that for just the school year?
No, the structure will be a semi-permanent structure that will remain until the borough determines whether or not it's effective and wants to pursue a permanent infrastructure design there. But for the stop sign, it was my understanding that at some point in life, there were 2 stop signs on both sides of Calcon Hook. And what's happened now, for whatever reason, unbeknownst to me, is that there's 2 on one side and only 1 on the other. So the question was, the borough needs to put another sign up, but that's a PennDOT, that's a state road. We can't just put a sign up. I have to get approval, and that's where we are. As a part of this process, I'm bringing it to them to make sure that we include that measure, if it's required, that they put it up for us again.
Sorry, Susan, go ahead.
No worries. Any other questions on that? I know it is a lot, but
I
again.
do have a question. And they will come out and do a presentation. Yes. I want to say the DBRPC because there's so many.
Yeah, that was the county, right?
The county will come out and do a presentation for council and the public on that entire project. So I want to first get you what they gave me after 4 today. And then at that point, you can decide at what meeting you would like to have them come out and present to the public. Okay, thank you. I did have a question, Susan. So one of the things when I sat out there with them and they did the street studies, watching the people go by for a couple hours, and we started talking about the bill, I did ask if they would be informing the homeowners that are at those intersections, or that one intersection about, when it's gonna start and what the expectations and maybe the different traffic patterns. Did they mention anything about communicating that to those homeowners?
They did not yet. I think mostly because it is still in the preliminary stages. They're still requesting, comments from council, the school district. I'm sure that once everything goes into construction or pre-construction, they'll notify people.
Okay.
I have a question. So right there at Calcon Hook and Coates, on Calcon Hook, the pole got ripped down, the stop sign pole. So the PennDOT, they're not concerned about one pole missing that is actually ripped down. Like for me, if I work for PennDOT, I'm gonna get that pole back up.
I don't think that they were aware of it, honestly. When we brought it up, they were pretty quick to say that they would look into it and replace it if necessary.
Well, cause I sent pictures.
Right. To PennDOT?
No, I sent it to our office.
Right.
And the pole, somebody ripped it down.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that by law, if it's
sure.
a 4-way stop,
yeah,
you gotta jump on that immediately.
Right.
So I'm sorry, they suck too. No, seriously. Seriously.
I don't disagree.
They do. Because you wanna sit there and you're gonna do a study and you see a pole ripped down in this neighborhood, and that's where kids go. This pole been ripped down since the school season was in.
The one side, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a big, for me, that's a big deal, because let me tell you why. Because when we had the 4th of July event, Chief, it almost was an accident right on that corner. And then I'm dropping my son off, I'm coming back, I almost see another accident. So I start typing early in the morning about it. I'm like, you know, so at least, you know, I don't know when we found out that, oh, this is a state road, and, you know, and this is the time it's going to take, but it's like, come on. So we need to send some more emails to them and tell them to come out and put a temporary sign there, like ASAP.
Right.
If, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, I totally agree.
Thank you.
Yeah, as a part of that too, there aren't crosswalk lines across Calhoun, so the county proposed to put those in. So that'll help with some of the safety measures, but I agree. But like I said, when Joy and I had that meeting with them today, we made them aware of it. They know, and you know, I'll just continue to harass them as anybody. The person I reached out to last week was a facilities person. I never heard back from them. So we used the opportunity today to let these guys up in the, you know, main building in the office now. So like I said, I'll follow up in a day or two and just let them know. I think the county, like I said, did a pretty good job today of letting them know that it's a dangerous intersection and, you know, they need to move on it. So I'll follow up and let them know that that stop sign needs to go back in ASAP.
Susan?
Yes.
Susan, I have a question. First of all, thank you for the presentation, and I'm sorry I was unable to read your report because we didn't get the documentation until today. I would love to know, has anyone approached you from council or staff to submit your report at least a week in advance?
Not that I'm aware of. I will definitely do a better job of that.
Right,
So
because it's been said at these meetings multiple times, and I'm wondering if we're not getting stuff because we may not have asked. And I ask that of anyone who's submitting reports. It is critically important that as a body, we get a chance to look at what you're saying, read it, have our questions prepared, and make sure we're just not riffing in these meetings, that we understand what's happening. So I asked today formally, can you make sure that the borough manager gets this stuff in a timely manner so that the council can get the information and read it?
Yep,
Thank you.
Moving on, I was able to, at the last meeting we had spoken about, I had applied for a grant for some playground improvements, and there was some mention that Rambler Field was the one that needed the most love. So I was able to work with the state and revise the grant application to exclusively do Rambler Field. He did make us choose one site. So from speaking with Councilman Hill and some of the audience members at the last meeting, it seems as though Rambler Field was most in need. So I revised it, finalized that last week, working with the state. So that application is under review for Rambler Field. Working with Councilman Hill to try to get PennDOT to close down Chester Pike for the Jalen Duran Day. Hopefully we hear back from them and we're able to get that done. You'll see on the agenda later this evening, there's a motion to advertise the alleyway project. So, you know, we got that grant from the state to improve those alleyways. We had a lot, we asked for, I think, close to $250,000, we only got $150. So we're gonna go ahead and advertise that, try to highlight the ones that are most in need. Put the other ones on as what we call an ad alternate. So we would do a base bid of the ones that are absolutely in need with an option for the borough to get further alleyways if the pricing comes back amenable to the grant. So that will go out to bid either tomorrow or Monday, hopefully with an opening date next month, and get moving on that project. And then lastly, the Eastwick levy, there is a Zoom meeting next, it's 7/22, I believe that's next Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday. I haven't gotten any information about it yet, but in their last email, which was shortly after the May meeting, they said there would be a Zoom meeting on 7/22 and an in-person meeting at Heinz again in September. So once I get the information, I'm sure council will also, the council members that have attended will also be on that email with the Zoom information, but I'll make sure that all the council gets that information for that Zoom meeting next week. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our engineer?
Just want to say thank you for the follow-up. Appreciate that. Have you seen anything out there for the bridge? Any grants?
No, I'm still looking,
Okay.
I'm looking. And I'm looking for something that we can, in a timely way. I've
Yeah.
seen, like I told you, I've seen things, but they're already passed. The
Yeah.
deadline's already passed, so I'm keeping my eye out.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I do have a question, just wanted to know if you have any information on George Street yet.
So, Madam Borough Manager and I are talking about how we want to use the liquid fuels fund, so we've been having discussions about it. I have that noted down that George Street is in need of repaving, but no further discussion at this point.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Susan. Mr. Treasurer, I think it's your turn.
Good evening again. So I'll read off the treasurer's report for the month of June. The balance on hand as of May 31st, 2026 was $2,625,270.77. In the month of June, we had deposits and receipts that totaled $490,240.64, bringing the balance before disbursements to $3,115,511.41. In the month of June, we had a total of withdrawals and disbursements of $1,326,857.75, bringing our general fund balance as of June 30, 2026 to $1,788,653.66. If I may, I'll continue on to the bills report. So I have on my sheet, I have a few items that's just highlighted that I'll speak on before I turn it over to you all if there's any questions, comments, or concerns. On page 1, the second one down, you'll see that's it's kind of like an address. It kind of blurred a little bit. I tried to space it out enough. I guess I didn't, but it's an address there of a property owner. If you'll see in the description, that it's a tax refund that we had to return back for overpayment. So I just want to highlight that one. Just on page 5, KML Transport, it's a vendor for our police department. There were some vehicles that we had to salvage, but they also had to do some work and remove some of some of the parts from some of the vehicles as well. A little bit further down, our engineer, MG Engineering Associates, it says January for both of those invoices. They were both for the month of January, which is why I could have updated the description, but it was for the same project, one of the park projects that we were making payments on for that vendor. Page 7, Raid Plumbing and Heating, a vendor that we typically use, but there was some work that needed to get done in the field house. It's on Calcone Hook Road. I believe that's how it was presented on the description, so I just wanted to point that one out. And you also see within this, the 9 pages that you have for the bills list, there's quite a bit of senior rebate payments that has been going out. So you'll see some of your neighbors there, their names for the senior rebate checks that has been dispersed from the office as well. And then just on the last page, page 9, the second to last one is We Care Associates. Again, that's another real estate tax refund for overpayment as well. The total bill payments in the month of, that was for checks in the month of June that we put out, was $576,106.69. I'll yield for any questions at the moment.
Are there any questions for the treasurer? I have a couple questions, but I can defer to others.
I am looking at, first of all, thank you. I did not read everything, but I saw that you actually got a full financial report with year-to-date, and actuals. I do have questions about things that have been, budgeted, and it looked like we've spent over those amounts, and want to know when did council have conversations to adjust those numbers, and whether we have done a formal budget revision.
No, but I do think that we can, prior to our next meeting, I think it will be a good conversation for us to have, if possible, as a collective body, prior to us discussing what we need to discuss in front of the public if necessary. Not that there's anything to hide or anything, but I want to make sure that we can go in thorough detail about what's in the budget, especially for those individuals who were not here that actually were not able to approve the budget in, I guess, November and December of 2025. So.
The second question, and I'll hold the rest, is there looks like there's a fund transfer of $150,000 here from the, it just says fund transfer. Where is that coming from, and who authorized that?
So, first off, before I answer that question, just so the council knows, that is not anything that's on the bills list. Councilwoman is talking about the income statement, the profit and loss statement that I provided you, something I have not discussed as of yet. But to answer that question, that was a budgeting item that we put there to say, okay, if we have enough funds left over by the end of the year, or maybe third quarter, fourth quarter of the year, then we should try to put $150,000 into a capital reserve fund for capital expenditures in the following year, or that we may or may not need to do.
So that was a decision y'all made last year, not this year?
Correct. And
Okay.
that money, that's a budget. That was an approved budget. That is not an actual number. No funds have been transferred.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Just to kind of like emphasize why it's beneficial, a lot of our buildings and functional items within the borough tend to break down. We realize we have very little, we have really nothing to kind of fall back on. And to kind of get us right-sided for next year and the years following, we want to make sure we have reserve for the emergencies that come up. If the roof comes, we have a roof issue, we have a maintenance issue with particular items. If we, let's say we need to replace some of the trucks. We have quite a few trucks that we don't have the funds to repair or aren't being used, especially a sewage truck. If we can get ourselves right-sized completely with all our finances, it gets us in a steady space. There's a limited amount of funds we can actually store up, but it's just so we can make sure that we don't fall into those gaping holes of, oh no, we need these funds to cover these repair roofs and things like that. So.
And do they come, where will we find the $150,000? Where does it come from?
The fund transfer, as we anticipated and hope that it happens, will come from the general fund.
And that's after we balance the books and everything, and if that is excess funds, we use it.
Correct.
Got it.
Mr. Treasurer, I just had a couple of questions on some of the repeat items. So the first one that I noted was ADU. And I see a board insecure on here. It's on the first page.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we talked a while ago about not covering boards insecure for fires because that's something that homeowners insurance would probably cover. And then when a citizen or a victim of a fire gets their check back, the borough is not able to recuperate that money. So we talked about that maybe a year ago or more. So I'm curious. Yeah, just curious as to why it looks like we're still getting those bills or calling ADU out. So they're probably billing us because we called them, but we talked about this before. So
is, and I apologize, but is that us, if we receive the bill, should we be receiving those bills? Like, are they aware that they shouldn't be, or whose practice is it to reach out to the homeowner or the property owner?
That falls in that abatement category. Often what happens, the fire happens, and either police or fire will call out for the abatement. We can have a larger discussion, but as you know, these become nuisance situations where we had a fire and it wasn't, the structure wasn't properly secured. So
we can have a broader conversation. I wasn't aware of what the standard was, because again, as I mentioned at our last meeting, abatements are expensive, and they range from, you know, picking up dump trash or trash and debris to boarding up a home, to cutting grass. And the more, to Council President's point, the more that the borough absorbs those expenses, we don't always have a measure in place to ensure that we get the follow through to collect. Because again, the insurance companies do not deal directly with the borough. They deal with the insured. And once the insured get paid, the expectation is that the insured will take care of all of the other expenses, but that doesn't always happen. So we can explore that again.
And if I may, really fast, and I apologize, but my report that you see here, I'm doing something slightly different. In the past, my bills payments reports would overlap months. If you see now, this bills report is strictly for the month of June, because my treasury report is strictly for the month of June. And the P&L statement I'm providing is going to end as of June. That will be from January to June 30th. So this report that you're looking at is only for the bills that were paid in June 30th. If you look at the ADU service payment, that was paid on June 4th, and we discussed discussion at the last meeting, council meeting. So you're correct in what you're stating to us. It's just that this was something that we talked about last meeting, and it's the same bill from the last meeting. Okay. So we didn't make any additional payments for abatements to ADU that we may or may not have received from ADU in that current time frame.
Okay. I would like to go back to the table. We had and this predates you, Madam Borough Manager, but we had the conversation with our emergency services, with fire and police, about calling ADU in response, and it was coming from a good place of serving the community. However, the bill comes to the borough, and homeowners do have insurance. They do receive a check for damages, and then the borough never recoups the money. So we probably should go back to the table so we can change the practice, so that we're not absorbing those costs, or if there's another way around it, so we can discuss it, so we don't get hit with these. And then there's other bills from ADU, and then we also had an agreement with them that up to a certain amount they would bill the borough, and then anything else would go to the homeowner, and that they would wait until a lien was placed on properties. So if any of these are abatement charges, they should be funneling through that process of it's exceeded. I think the amount, I want to say the amount was anything under, I want to say 3, but I don't quote me on that. But there's a number that anything under that we would cover. If it was over that, ADU would go ahead and lien the property and wait for the homeowner or the, the investor or the bank to pay for it. And we shouldn't be cutting checks to them for any of those type of abatements. So I'm not sure what the address is on this. There's a large one, 4,130 on here. But if we can just we'll take a deeper dive and we can look at that more closely.
And Mr. Treasurer, if you get abatement invoices, would you mind just copying me on those? Because I could get the lien secured, and that way everything's tight. And
I'll pull the details of these, but I got it.
And just for clarification, typically the escrow is deposited by the insurance company, but it's not always required to have. It's not required in Pennsylvania to have fire insurance. So it very well may be the case that someone pays off their mortgage and they no longer are insured. So that's something that it's a tricky situation. But if you send me some of those, we can try to find a way to track somebody down if they exist.
And then the other one was just as a correction that you probably will note in the July bills list, but the check for Mad Beach that was going to be a part of our parade, we didn't use that because we canceled the parade, and so that check should be returned and voided, and then there'll be the other replacement cost for the activities that we did do. So we'll see that in July. That's all that I have. Are there any other questions for the treasurer on the bills list or the treasurer's report? No? Okay, thank you.
Before you continue, really not sure what the borough manager is asking.
No, I was asking you to do this for me over there.
Oh, I got you. I will, yes. In a moment. Well, give me 60 seconds.
When you finish it.
I got you. So, council as well, I'm not sure where it lies in your packet, but as I mentioned, there's a kind of like a consolidated version of the income and expenses that I provided to you on that, like page 1 of after my expenses report. So I call it a dashboard, and maybe I'll kind of highlight it a little differently moving forward. But just wanted to break out some of the income and expense line items based off the department for expenses and the income like taxes, general revenue, fines and violations or whatnot. I do have to update it says annual budget for fiscal, so it's not the year to date. However, the numbers or the actual numbers for the income that has been received and or expenses that has been paid is up until June 30. So I won't go in much detail. Of course, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm sure we'll have a conversation prior to our next council meeting about these numbers and numbers that will come after that with any other updates. But please let me know if you have any questions. As you scroll down, you'll see that it's broken out the P&L of budget versus actual is broken out by department. I did highlight that section at the top. You'll see administration, police, fire, library, and you'll be able to see obviously there the payroll costs so far, any types of benefits that we're paying out, and income that is coming in that I code towards that department as well. So currently we're sitting income-wise over budget. I want to say roughly about $2.3 million over what we expected to. Currently $2.3 million of income over expenditures at the current moment. But many of you know, like we have in the past, once we get towards roughly the third quarter, our income starts to dwindle down because many of our residents have already paid their taxes. We don't have much, much large lump sums of money that comes in. So though we sit about $2.3 million over what our expenditures are right now, that conversation can be different in 3, 4, 5 months from now. So.
Is there anything, I'm sorry, Madam President, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Is there anything that we should be aware of when we look at that dashboard? Because based on what we budgeted for administration and where we are, and the fact that if we're operating on a calendar year, is there something we should be looking at this point?
I'm not sure how to answer your question. You said, is there something we should be?
So we are basically, in this line item, we're about $1,050,000 that was budgeted. We are already at $987,000, and we have to go 6 more months.
I can explain it.
At some point have a conversation, because that's going to be a woozy.
I can explain it. So what I intended to do was, in the briefest way I can say it right now, we have insurance payments for the borough, workers' compensation, general liability, and a host of other insurances that we have to pay out. I believe that in order for us to see the true cost of a department, in particular, I'll just say the police department, then we should have an allocation. There should be an allocation, a percentage allocation that is towards that department on what the true cost is, workers' comp wise, general liability wise for their facility to run that operations. Same thing with the library. So I budgeted that way. So if you'll see the police line expenditure wise like $3.4 million, they won't hit that because right now they won't, because how the insurance bills come in is not properly broken out by, right. So with $900,000 being in the administration, that's because 100% of the insurance costs that we paid out thus far is all in administration. So what I want to do and intend to do is do more of an allocation broken out to the department so it can be more of a balance and true numbers of what you're really looking at.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Are there any other questions for the treasurer? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Madam Borough Manager.
No, that's good, I just need to get back to, Good evening, Madam President, Council, members of the public. In your packet, you'll see my executive borough manager operational impact report for the periods of June to July of 2026. During this review period, my team and I provided hands-on executive leadership across daily operations, resident services, public safety coordination, fiscal follow-up, grants, public works, community events, personnel matters, and council support. The work reflected in this report shows consistent follow-through, problem solving, and coordination across departments, vendors, residents, elected officials, engineers, public safety partners, and outside agencies. Executive leadership and borough operations. I served as the central point of coordination for multiple moving parts across the borough. This included keeping council informed, preparing items for meetings, coordinating with our treasurer, solicitor, council president, mayor, police, public works, code enforcement, engineer, vendors, and residents, and ensuring issues did not sit unanswered. Key operational work included supporting council agenda preparation, legislative meeting coordination, zoning hearing notice posting, honorary street dedication or designation ordinance advertising, staff follow-up, vendor communications, and internal workflow management. I also help move policy-related items forward, which are before you this evening for council. Fiscal oversight, risk management, and administrative controls. A major part of my work involved financial follow-up and risk management. My team and I tracked past due notices, sent invoices and statements to the treasurer, questioned payment status, coordinated insurance-related documentation, and helped prevent administrative items from falling through the cracks. Additionally, I managed tax exemption documentation, amended mailing addresses, grant-related payment processes, payroll/retirement funding notices, and abatement-related cost recovery. Public Works, Infrastructure, and Code. My team and I coordinated and resolved a wide range of public works and infrastructure matters, including potholes, sign replacement, line painting, street maintenance, paving materials, event setup, generator use, park maintenance, grass cutting, stormwater cleanup, and equipment readiness. I also supported wage benchmarking for public work classification for a countywide assessment. Code enforcement and property maintenance matters were also actively routed and tracked. These included trash complaints, overgrown weeds, nuisance properties, rental/property complaints, roof leaks, abatement follow-up, permit and use and occupancy restrictions tied to unpaid abatement costs, and inspection and report coordination with Commonwealth Code. I want to take a pause here. Will, if you can hit that light for me just so I can pull up this presentation. The light, yeah. I want the public to be able to see. Council, this presentation is in your packet. If you, for those of you who are using the flash drive, just the one should be lit. I don't want it to be too dark. For those of you using the flash drive, if this presentation is there, Madam President, Madam President and Councilor Fleming, I emailed you a link. I was having difficulties, but the brain kicked in and I can email it through a link because you guys are on our network, all right? So you may need to hit the other light just so the public can see. So on that item I was just discussing, and I know the board is kind of in the way. I wish we didn't have it, or maybe I can move this a little closer. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. All right, so high weeds and grass affect the whole block. Routine maintenance supports safer walkways, healthier properties, and stronger neighborhood pride. These images are images from our code enforcement team. When they go out to issue tickets, they take pictures at every site. They also include a picture of the actual ticket. These are reflections of individuals in our community who are leaving trash and debris, obstructing areas that it's just creating an unsafe condition for our residents. So clear yards, walkways, and exterior areas help reduce hazards and protect neighboring properties. So these are the things that our code enforcement officers are seeing while they're out there, and these are just some of the tickets. Just so you know, when they go out, like I said, they do ticket, they also take pictures, and we have copies of the pictures here in the office. So when residents who do find themselves in these situations come in, they come in with their ticket, and we have an opportunity to talk about what we observed at the time in which the code enforcement officer issued the infraction. You can hit the light. Back onto my report. Public safety, traffic, and emergency readiness. I supported several public safety and traffic-related matters, including speed bump petitions, radar study coordination, missing or damaged traffic signs, police enforcement follow-up, persons with disability parking requests, and the quick build school zone safety coordination, which our chief and our engineer spoke to in terms of the radar work and the quick build. Additionally, I helped coordinate public-facing safety communication during the extreme heat advisory. The mayor's heat proclamation emphasized risks to vulnerable residents, pets, hydration, cooling resources, neighbor checks, and heat-related illness awareness, which I reviewed and had our team request website posting and coordinated record keeping. Grants, compliance, and external funding. I advanced and protected several grant and compliance-related matters, including DCED reporting, LSA grant amendment, e-signature coordination, which the mayor did assist me on, thank you very much. Whole home repair resource referrals, low volume road program follow-up, multimodal transportation fund project movement, and digital connective reporting, amongst other matters. These efforts show attention to not only winning and receiving funds for the borough, but also to keeping grants, reports, signatures, documentation, and compliance steps organized. Community events and resident engagement. My team and I provided significant behind-the-scenes coordination for the borough's events and community programming. This included the July 4th fireworks logistics, heat-related event adjustments, insurance certificates, vendor and payment coordination, public works setup needs, school district coordination, post-event cleanup, and debriefing. For the July 3rd festivities in particular, my team and I helped coordinate the transition from the broader daytime activities to the Friday evening event, which included providing tables, chairs, generator use, games from Borough Hall, and fireworks timing. My team also supported planning and coordination for the Jalen Duran Drills and Skills signage, and the Healthy Communities Expo, the America 250 fireworks sponsorship, and other recreational related council requests. Resident service and constituent response. My team and I provided steady responsiveness to resident concerns, including but not limited to following up on persons with disability parking applications, tax penalty appeals, school tax questions, missed calls, potholes, sidewalk and vehicle complaints, property maintenance concerns, dog waste and trash concerns, business license penalty appeals, and housing complaints. Human resources, benefits, and personnel support. As borough manager, I also handle several HR and personnel related matters, including benefits cleanup for separated employees, pension and drop retirement coordination, workers' compensation audit documentation, temporary disability documentation, FMLA related follow-up, new hire insurance questions, intern placement coordination, and employee recognitions.
Additionally, additional HR tasks I managed over this period included benefit and policy cleanup for former employees, Public Works new hire onboarding, and providing staff classification and payroll documentation needed for audit and insurance purposes. Overall impact. The work reflected during this period demonstrates my ability as manager to actively hold together the operational, administrative, financial, public-facing, and compliance functions of the borough. Managing Sharon Hill Borough requires me to connect the dots across every part of borough government. My team and I continue to keep residents' complaints moving toward resolution, protect the borough from missed payments, insurance lapses, audit issues, and grant delays, support council decision-making with prompt information and follow-up, coordinate public safety, public work, police, school district, and vendor needs for major events, maintain public communication during weather, event, and infrastructure disruptions, advance policy, compliance, and operational modernization efforts. Collectively, we manage the visible and invisible work needed to keep Sharon Hill Borough moving responsive, compliant, and operational with limited staff and resources. Respectfully submitted, your Borough Manager, Joy Teller. If there's any questions, I'll take them at this time.
I have a lot of questions. And one of them, and the most important of them, is thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I really thank you.
Thank you.
I see a lot of proficiency going on, problem solving, and a lot of administrative connectiveness that wasn't here before. And I thank you for that.
Any questions for our Borough Manager?
I have three questions, Joy. Thank you for the report. Do we have, based on the pictures you showed, I like that the code enforcer is doing that. But do we have a routine inspection schedule so that we know that the code enforcer is making sure that these codes are universally applied? So week 1, they're in precinct 1, they're in precinct 2, they're in precinct 3. That's one question. I'll put them all three out so you can answer. Sure. What safeguards are in place to ensure that code enforcement decisions are based on an objective standard and are applied consistently? And are we primarily driven by complaints, or do we have some sort of universal application to ensure that this is being done and not selectively, or no retaliatory actions are taking place?
You said you had 3 questions, I'm
three.
sorry. Oh, I thought the
So
second
the
one was
safeguards, the routine inspections. Do we have something that's showing some sort of geographical reach? So if I wanted to look at the codes, and let's say we got 10 one day, can I look and see that that's being applied consistently on Francis Avenue, Florence Avenue, or Twin Oaks Avenue?
I'll do my best to try to ensure that I am providing some guidance to council to answer Councilor Fleming's question. The first, do we have a schedule, if you will? Is that a routine? Okay. Schedule. Do we have a routine inspection schedule? We have a routine inspection schedule for rental property licenses, right? Members know when you have a rental property license, it's going to be inspected at this, you have to renew at a certain period. Those are routine. When a code enforcer goes out, there's no routine schedule that they're only going to be on Barker on Mondays, and they'll be on High on Tuesdays, and they'll be on Laurel on Wednesdays, because that defeats the purpose of a code officer being able to catch potential code violations if everybody knows they're gonna be on High Street on Monday, so I can cut up on Tuesday. That's just
That wasn't the question. I don't want
Okay.
you to go too far with that, because I don't want you to go into a hole. The question is more related to universal application. I don't need to know they're gonna be on my street.
Right.
But I know.
So the
every month
universal
they-
application is that they use the same metrics for high weeds and grass. They use the same metrics for what they identify as bulk or dumping. They use the same metrics for what they identify as putting an object out improperly, right? In the example you saw a mattress that was out. So there are requirements for how you put a mattress out. So yes. To answer your question, yes.
But the geographic and the routineness of every block in Sharon Hill being covered within a certain range, or is it more selective and objective and subjective? That's the question I'm asking.
It's both, and if a person brings it to our attention, we have someone come around also.
Can I ask a question?
No.
To answer your second question, I want to make sure that I'm understanding you correctly, so if you could just elaborate for me, please, on, or did that answer all of your? I don't know if you're.
Are they based, you said they are based on both objective and subjective based on?
And anyone that comes in and reports something.
And somebody, and do we have safeguards in place to ensure that the code enforcement decisions are not retaliatory?
I don't know that we have anything in place. I don't know how to answer that question.
Side note, please continue to report any code issues you have. If you see something, say something. Just try, just reach out to the Borough Hall.
We got in trouble.
Or call me, you can call me, you got my number, you can call me.
Public comments, I'll call.
Yes, call me, you can call me if you have a problem, and let me be the person someone yells at. It's kind of the nature of the job.
As far as code is concerned, to the mayor's point, when people see things, they say something to us, council has said things to us, I try to make sure that we get a response for you, and that involves engaging our code enforcement officers. The public knows how to reach our code enforcement department, Commonwealth Code. Their number is on our calendar that we give out. Anybody can call Commonwealth Code, which they have. So it's difficult for the borough to delineate or manage, if you will, anything that could be perceived as retaliatory, because anybody can call. Anybody can say, oh, this is Miss Ruby from the borough, and I'm calling because this. Anybody can do that because their contact information is public. So there's no filter or metric where it's authorized and approved from the borough before they go out and do something. That's not how it works, because people are going to see things happening at hours. They're going to call the police, and they're going to say, I'm calling to report somebody dumping trash back here. There's, so there's some things that unfortunately we don't have a way to manage, and we can't be on the hook for whether or not it's perceived as retaliatory, because anybody can make that call. But for the calls that are made or the requests, and I'll give you a specific example. When a member of the public or council comes in and tells me at a public meeting that there is a nuisance issue on their block involving an animal, I have taken the liberty to explicitly send a notice to that entire block about dog waste and how to properly dispose of it. I've engaged our police chief to ensure that he has someone go out and look at it, because it came to us as a request. But I don't isolate that specific address or that specific address or two addresses on that block. I'll do the entire block. So any resident that comes to us with a complaint, with a concern, what I try to do is to make sure that it's not perceived, to your point, as retaliatory from the borough, is that I will make sure that if it's If they tell me it's the 200 block, the entire 200 blocks gets a notice. If you say it's the 100 block, the entire 100 block gets a notice. And I'm sure residents who have received those notices can attest that the entire 100 block got them. And we do have the postage bill to show it. So I hope that provides a little bit of context and clarity for you. And if you have any additional questions.
Just about the standard operating procedures for grants, compliance, and external, do we have anything in writing?
Well, most grants have their requirements within the grant. Most grants, and you'll see before you this evening, there's a multimodal grant that the borough is applying for, and a part of that application includes the resolution that council has to approve.
Yes.
So
the like standard operating procedures.
So no, because it's a given. It won't go through without it. Most grants, and I'm sure our grant people, Susan's here, she can attest. If the borough is applying for a grant, a resolution is required, so we don't need a standard operating procedure to state that a resolution is required or that borough approval is required, because you can't move forward for the grant without having that a part of it. But if you think that we should have something, if that's a recommendation to have standard operating procedures for things that have to happen, that can only happen, honestly, without council approval, I would encourage you to speak with the solicitor to ensure that that's something that is legally required for a borough to have in order for them to apply for grants that will require borough approval before applying.
Well, I asked because as 7 months on, I've gotten one message, and then as you know today, we had a whole conversation about grants, and none of that is in writing. So I feel like it's very subjective also, because I had two different ways of saying what that was. And so just making sure that there's a standard way. Usually things are in writing if they're required. Council has authority to do certain things, and I want to make sure that I am following those rules and not waiting until after I've done something to have my hands tied.
Mr. Solicitor, if you could also engage the borough code, because there could be provisions within the borough code that would answer your question in terms of standard operating. Elected officials in boroughs are always subjected to borough code, and so we would be following borough code. That is a tool that is in your tool belt. So I would again encourage you to speak with Mr. Solicitor in regards to what the borough code has to say about standard operating procedures for grants and how boroughs can apply for grants.
It would be nice if we can get that. If there's a code, it would be nice to actually share it. That way we don't have to deal with subjective.
The borough code is public.
When I posted codes, I was told that those are old.
No, not the municipal code. Yes, the state, so the association that we're all members of, if you go to the association's website, you can pull the borough code directly from there.
When you say borough, I was assuming you meant.
You thought I meant municipal ordinances. No, our municipal ordinances was not what I was referencing, but I was explicitly speaking of the statutory borough code that's available on the website. And it's ever changing, which is why we don't have hard copies. But if it's council's pleasure, I'm certain we can invest. Madam President, that concludes my report. If there are no other questions. Are there any other questions for our borough manager?
Thank you. All right, so this time we've concluded our officials reports. And we move to our public comment section of the meeting. I'd like to remind the public that our public comment section is for 3 minutes.
And we ask that you ask all of your questions and make all of your comments, and we will address them afterwards so that we don't lose your time.
I apologize. Let me
get on my other job. Timekeeper. Make sure I hit it right before I start. I'm sorry. Okay, I think I'm good. Thank you. We have our comment cards, and if anybody has not submitted their comment card, please pass it to the front. The first comment card I have is from Mr. Felton White.
I'll pass to her, she wants it first.
I'm sorry, Mr. White, are you declining your comment?
No.
Or deferring?
I'm referring it to her, she wanna go first.
Okay.
She has to go.
Ms. Pat Rumaker?
Pat Rumaker, 335 Greenwood Road. I have quite a few, so I'm saying them all fast. I came to Borough Hall. I did not appreciate the way I was spoken to. I know I was lied to, but that's another thing. When you get a ticket, it says you have 48 hours to pay. How long do you have to correct? I called and asked that. Nobody seems to know how long you have to correct. Then I don't know why I was informed about this, the land bank that we spoke about in March, and there was 2 properties listed. The following month, the one property was taken off. The other day I found out it's back on again, and when I went to the minutes that it should have been in, the minutes still aren't available. The last minutes were March of this year, but if you go back further, on the months that I need to know what was said, the minutes aren't there. And with the parade, when was the parade started, like to get people to, march in our parade? How many organizations were due to march, and why was it canceled instead of being postponed? It was a heat wave. You canceled the parade early on, and I didn't go to see because I'm not sitting out in the heat. I saw them from my house, the fireworks, they look great. The library was listed as a cooling station. They took off 2.5 days for 4th of July. The borough only got 1 day off. And what people have access to Borough Hall office besides the council and, well, the 2 people sitting on the council thing? I know they would because they work there. And I spoke to the mayor and I said about, everybody does not have a phone or a computer. I used to have both, but my computer blew up. So I have a phone. I do not go on my phone every day to see what the borough's doing. I personally didn't care that much, and now I care even less. I spoke to the mayor about the mayor's letter. He said he'd look into it, and he seems to think he'd like to do it. This is the book my parents received when we moved into Sharon Hill. I think every person in Sharon Hill should receive a book. This book, when I read it the other day, I laughed. It talks about you can't have horses on the street. Well, we don't have horses on the street. But that's what Sharon Hill needs. Something to let the residents know what is and isn't allowed. And for high grass, my mother's grass was maybe 2 inches. And when I came up, they said, well, look at all that. I told them which thing. They were all plants, flowers. That yes, they were spring flowers, so the flowering part's done. So if the code enforcer doesn't know the difference between flowers and tall grass, maybe he needs an app on his phone. That you point the phone to the thing and it tells you if it's a flower or a weed. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments and your questions. There were, I was able to capture a couple of them, and we can address the others, I suppose. With regard, some of them were statements and not questions, and I appreciate those comments, thank you. The question on who has access to the office, the elected members of council and our appointed officials are those that have, and staff are those that have access to the office. And public their staff. When I say staff,
I was shocked when I saw the one person with their fob walking the door. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Why?
So, you asked for the office?
Yeah.
Okay, so the fob that opens the exterior door to the building, there are others that have access to that door. The office are our elected body, and the staff and appointed officials. We had approximately 6 organizations, 5 organizations. I tried to write them down. I'd have to look back. Scheduled to participate in the parade. In terms of tickets, once a ticket is issued, it's issued. Warnings used to have a period of time to correct, but a ticket is not corrected.
No, the ticket says 48 hours to pay.
Correct.
Understood. How long do you have to correct before they're gonna come back and give you more of a fine?
Understood. Joy, do you know what the?
No, she doesn't. I asked her.
For the, okay, we can
It's
take
the
that.
same 48 hours, so we give you a 48-hour window in order to pay and correct. Otherwise, if that 48 hours elapsed, the inspector, when, again, this is why we don't deploy them on a routine schedule, we allow for them to, members who receive tickets to correct, and then we give the updated list to code for them to go back and check. That's about the only thing we do, is go back and check and make sure that of the tickets that we issued, see who actually corrected, who paid, and if they did, to ensure that they didn't just pay and not correct, if that makes sense. So it's a 48-hour window. All of that happens in that time frame.
48 hours really isn't fair, because if people work.
Ms. Rumaker,
I know my 3 minutes
your
are up.
comments. We do have additional comments, so thank you for your comments.
I know my 3 minutes weren't up, but they
There
don't
were
wanna
12
answer
seconds
questions.
left on the clock when you stopped speaking. So,
And I just said, 48 hours is not long enough to correct. And I'm retired, so it doesn't count me. You work, probably a lot of the people up on the council work. If they come home after work and have a ticket, they are not gonna feel like going out and weeding their lawn.
Madam President, perhaps that's something that council can discuss with the solicitor as it relates to the revisions to the ordinance that was just changed that impacted the fee schedule.
yeah, and you're correct. If a person comes home late from work and they got a ticket, they probably don't have time to get the lawnmower out, but they got the ticket because they had not gotten the lawnmower out sooner. It's not
Understood.
that we just skip the ticket because
But
the
once
grass
they
is
get the
just one
ticket,
day.
then
Understood. So,
then the neighbors are gonna be complaining that they're running their lawnmower too late.
right, thank you. Thank you for your suggestion, Madam Borough Manager. We can take that one to the discussion on the fee schedule.
Ms. Pat, thank you for reaching out, and thank you, and it's in progress right now. So I'm working on Mary's letter, and also I want to have an outreach for a welcoming committee. I'd like to know if there's any individuals who'd be willing to spend some time, find ways we can actually welcome our new residents that come into town. That's something I'd like to do exactly for that same purpose, because a lot of times the biggest issue I found is some people have an understanding from where they've been of what things are, not knowing that where they're coming to has a different set of regulations and understandings. In order to make a headway to new understandings for where you are present at, we have to have outreach for it. So I'm hoping I have some residents that are willing to email me to join the welcoming committee, where we can come together, redo that pamphlet. I'm gonna leave the horse part in, but I would like to literally take that pamphlet and start reissuing, and have people actually maybe come visit some people and say hello and welcome to the community.
Mayor Booker?
Yes.
When I moved up in Sharon Hill, there was a welcoming committee, but that particular item was not part of my welcome package. Okay, it has been updated, number one. Number two, change took place.
Yes.
And I've been in the borough now since 2004, November. And I didn't have a computer then. I don't think my phone was as sophisticated as it is now. I got rid of my landline because it was giving me problems because it was outdated. I had a putt of a, lawnmower, and it just conked out on me in the middle of during my process. But I knew my lawn looked bad before it got to, I think it was 10 inches. I knew it was bad looking when it got to like 5 or 4. I knew it needed to be cut. So a young man down the street said he would do it for me. And he did it with one of them push lawnmowers. Where I'm coming at is, I know as an elected official, I used to come to the meetings and hear what was going on. I was invited out to come to the meeting from the welcoming committee, which at the time was all the council people. But with all the sophistication of today, you know, I would love to go back, but forward is too powerful. And I think we have to be more conscious of mind, and we got to catch up. And we got responsibilities as residents, not to wait till things get to a point of critical before we address it.
Absolutely.
And it's our responsibility to make sure that our homes, our front doors, back doors, our blocks, you know, we had committeemen, because I was a committeeman. I started out my journey as that. I don't know too much about black captains, but I know it's an initiative going on to try to get that back.
That's actually in place right now.
The communication can't just be on, you know, the elected officials.
Yes. So
or even the borough management, because we are being taken out of our role of operating a borough. That's why we contract the trash people, because I'm not slinging cans and picking up someone else's garbage. They get paid for that. I'm not a landscaper, so I'm not gonna take care and try to do all the things that green thumbers do, but I will cut my grass. I will do my hedges. Not on a clock basis, but when I know they're looking bad, I gotta get my old self out there and do it, or pay somebody. So we have a communal, residential, individual responsibility. And I think the borough will become a greater place if we do those 3 things. Individually, as a resident, and as a community person.
I agree wholeheartedly. What I want to do is open the door for people who want to do it. There's a lot of, I can tell everybody to go do something. Doesn't mean they got to listen to a single word I say. But if you want to be part of the solution, you'll show up. I'm not going to pay you for you to mow your own lawn. If you want your lawn, if you know it's going to cost you to do the right thing, that's on you. But I want people who have the desire and the heart to be present in the community, because I'll listen. Half this crowd has a way of reaching me in a moment's notice, because I want them to be able to reach me. I want them to have the opportunity to go ahead and say, hey, look, you got a problem, you take care of it. When Ms. Pat reached out to me, I'll say, thank you, Ms. Pat. I appreciate you, and I mean that. And that's why, literally, I want to open the door for that communication back. But people have to be willing to pick up their phone. It's hard to grab your phone and call somebody or text somebody. And some people, they only go as far as their keyboard for a problem. And I need people to help me lift boxes. I'll lift all the luggage you got if you'll come with me on this journey, but I ain't doing it alone. There's a lot of things I'll do. If I gotta push your car up a hill, whatever. But decide, no matter what, if you want a better community, you're gonna show up. Kayla right there, she shows up to the community. She wants to do something, I said, cool, Kayla, just go do it. Because I'm not gonna stand in the way of progress. If y'all wanna make a better community, come on. That's my only solution. If someone has a good solution, yeah, let's do that. I'm not gonna stand in the way of you making your community better. And more than anything, everyone here just about knows what our rules and regulations are. But if you don't know, I realize more people don't know the rules and regulations. They have their own understanding. And their understanding is from a place where they ain't never had a lawn. So now they have one. And they're surprised that lawns pop up in days. that's something they have to learn. So we have to open the door for learning. So, sorry, took too long. Carry on.
Mayor Booker, I'm sorry I did step out for a moment, but I wanted to say, Ms. Ruby has been working on pulling together
Yes.
a welcome packet. We had reached out to a neighboring community that does do delivery of welcome packets when they are alerted of new residents and to see a template. And so if you want to tap in with her for your efforts, it may be better than starting at.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, Ms. Ruby, I know Ms. Ruby's on it. I'm very happy that she's been working with us, so, as she has.
Can I just say one quick thing real quick? I just wanted to ask Ms. Brubaker, is there a second copy of that?
No, that's the only one my mother had.
Okay, all right. I wanted it for the historical commission, that's all. But if I could just get a copy of it, I would
I'll see if
appreciate
my
it.
cousin still has my aunt's.
Okay, I would appreciate it.
It was recommended to possibly see if you can just get a scanned copy and include the scanned copy.
Okay, all right.
I don't know how to scan on my phone.
And look, I was gonna say, so we're gonna find someone to help us with that, right? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. White?
Yeah. Before I start my 3 minutes, Madam President, Madam, I said I had a question for you, but I don't have a question. What I want to say is that,
Me?
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What I want to say to
Go on,
you
tell
is
me.
that, I think I talked about this at our community meeting. We have a mail group now, men of Delaware County. And one of the things, I don't know how
Why don't you come
to say
to
this
the
without,
mic?
huh? I don't know how to say this to you without, I don't wanna take any tax money or any penalty monies from you guys. But one of the things I wanna do is offer, when the ticket people go out, whatever you call them, when they go out and they're giving people tickets and stuff like that, if there's any elderly, any veterans or anything that need grass cut, need help or something with their grass cut, we have men that do that. We're gonna be out doing that. We're gonna be, we present ourselves in the community where we wanna help those people who can't. So if they ticket someone, I know you say they have 24, 48 hours or something. If there's a way I can give you my contact information and before the guys ticket them, let us know, and maybe, us guys can go out and cut their grass and stuff like that if it's too high.
We'll try to see what we can do.
Yeah, just work with me on that. Now, I want to go back to, I'm sorry, I don't know if everybody knows, Tammy Fleming is my wife. She's a very hard worker. She's a very hard worker. She takes everything serious. She loves helping the community and everything. And I'm glad we're very objective about things, but I'm glad she's open to helping the community. We've been doing this for a long time. In saying that, Tanya, I want to address you for a minute, if you don't mind. My wife, I don't like to give my wife issues, but I know it's true because when I was running,
No, are we dealing with borough issues?
No, I just want to make a statement about helping
But
people.
are you on the clock?
So I'm on the clock now.
All right.
Okay, thank you. But I wanted to say, when I was talking about running for city council, me and Best Man, you came to us and you said, I need y'all's support. Please, I need y'all's support. And you were targeting not only these two ladies, you were targeting Mr. Felder. You said he's too old, he don't need to be on the board, and you was targeting Rodney. So I know what you mean. I didn't talk to her, but I know this is what you said. Best Man could back it up and everything. And the most important person you was trying to get rid of was Miss Booker. You said she was a pain in your ass and that you needed to get rid of her. So I know how she feels and how you work. So I want to put that on the record. So everybody won't think my wife is just saying stuff. You came to me and I wasn't able to run because of my job, and Best Man ran and you screwed him. You screwed him. So I just want to put that on the record. I'm sorry if my 3 minutes up, but I wanted everybody to know that. And you was on the list too, Riley, so don't think you saved from her. She'll do it to you too.
Thank you for your comment. Ms. Tracy Turner, or Tracy Turner.
Tracy.
Oh, my turn. I was gonna stay here. So we had a town.
If you would just project so that we can hear, so that the camera can hear, please. Please project, because the blowers are making
So we had
difficult to hear
a
you from
town
back there.
hall meeting. It's over. 2 weeks ago, I guess. So me and Sandy have been speaking about the Ramblers for probably since she first got on. We were asking what's going on, who's it under, And thank God I didn't even have to bring it up. There were 3 ladies at this meeting who all have children at the Ramblers, who brought up all kinds of issues that I think we need to address. We don't know who the Ramblers are, where the money's going, who's running them, whose 501c it's under, where all the money's going in a snack bar. So that's one of my questions. So my other statement is, I came into Borough Hall with Miss Pat. She was disrespected very much by the borough manager, and it's great to hear what her job is. She's paid very well to do everything that she said. So basically, me and Pat were told, you two like to complain, so we're issuing your whole street tickets. That's what we were told. So you guys talk about say this, say that, make sure you report this, report that, and then you get retaliated against. Okay, that's what happens. Whether you all want to believe it or you don't, you can gawk me. I'm used to you asking me. It's nothing new to me. You guys don't understand, for the few people who are just here and just coming, what these people do. And I'm not saying all of you. This is why our borough looks the way that it does, because we've been coming here, me and her, for years, complaining. So I gotta make sure I email every day and I come up to this office to get anything done. It don't make no sense. None. And you guys talk about the alleyways. I know everybody's tired of hearing that.
Please.
They're the homeowner's responsibility, but it's your responsibility as council to enforce these homeowners to do what they're supposed to do when y'all haven't done it. Some of you guys been here as long as me. And we're still sitting here with potholes that would swallow a house. But we're worried about events in the borough. I don't understand. Like, where do we come from? What are we doing? I don't understand. I just don't. I don't want to go source. I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Are we addressing that?
I didn't hear any questions, but if you'd like to respond to
There's a lot of questions.
I do want to address it because I had a chance to participate in that meeting, and I wanted the residents to know that the next day I sent a request for the leadership of the Ramblers and for the rec board to be on the agenda. On Monday, I sent a follow-up request to find out whether that would be on. That was immediately after that town hall meeting we had in here. I sent a request to the borough manager and Madam President asking. I did not get an answer, and so on Monday, I followed up and said, and I had some of the wording wrong, we should answer the question about the snack vending place. We should answer the question about if tax dollars are going to the Ramblers and it's no longer the Sharon Hill Ramblers, how do we address that? I asked those questions and asked, could we have leadership from the Ramblers and have maybe our rec board give us some clarity on what is our policy as a borough, because the snack vending machine is borough property. So if someone is using it, we should have a policy, and if someone else is renting it out or lending it out, it is not their property to do that. So I do want the residents to know that I do follow up on these things. I was emailed back on Monday or Tuesday saying that we will have them on a panel in the fall, because we only have one meeting a month during the summer months. So the first email, I didn't get a response, but I did send a secondary email on Monday to find out whether this was going to be on the agenda.
The next comment card I have is from Ms. Kayla Cote.
Are we not answering questions tonight?
I
No?
didn't hear
Yeah?
a question, I heard a series of comments.
No, it was all the questions. Who's running the Ramblers? Who are they under? Where's the money going? Who's running the snack bar?
So
Those are questions that Councilor Fleming also posed that were raised by a couple of individuals, and the full response that I gave was that And there was a 3-week delay in the response. But if we're noting delays, we met this evening and talked about items that were shared on June 17th that council members had not even read to date. So I'm not the only individual that responds late, but I did respond. And community members that message me know that I do respond, as I do to council. I'm not an exception in that regard. But the full answer that I gave was that we can have a presentation by the Ramblers. I did speak to the Ramblers head coach, as well as all entities that do receive a funding allocation from the borough. And we could do that in the fall, closer to budget season. And we could do it once we go back to our caucus and legislative meetings, because that's when we generally have presentations. They're done at the caucus meetings. So that was the full answer that I gave.
Madam President, if I may, Madam President and Council, if I may, we did have a conversation about quasi-governmental groups that we support, right? So I would like to remind you that the Ramblers would be one of those quasi-governmental community organizations that we support, right? So with that being said, the borough does not collect any funds on behalf of the Ramblers. The Ramblers have their own structure. The borough supports them in ensuring that we allow our facilities to be available to them without cost, right? So that's that quasi-governmental relationship that we discussed previously. And I would, upon Mr. Solicitor's review and support, definitely caution the borough from having too much involvement in conversations regarding the fiscal management of an organization that is not governed by the borough, nor is the borough responsible for accounting, tracking, or monitoring that organization's finances. So, Mr. Solicitor, I would ask that you also please emphasize with our quasi-governmental organizations, community organizations that we support, that there's a clear line of delineation between what the borough is allowed, if you will, or authorized to report out on, because we do not track those finances, revenue sources, nor do we handle any applications, etc. So I just wanted to make sure that I used another example for yourself as well as the public to understand that some of the questions that may come, we're not discrediting, council is never discrediting the credibility of your question. It's just as elected officials, they cannot be put in a position to respond to questions about finances for quasi-governmental community organization groups that are not governed or managed by the borough. I hope that that provides some clarity and context to you. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, and that's all that I have on that, and I would defer everything else to Mr. Solicitor.
Are any of the taxpayers' dollars going to this organization?
Yep.
Madam Manager.
I'm not certain if any of when you say any of the taxpayers' dollars, I would have to say that taxpayers' dollars cover facilities that multiple or community organizations participate in. So I would again ask the solicitor to filter that conversation or that question to ensure that we're not giving information that doesn't include or paint the total picture of what it is that you're asking.
So expenditure 1.452.499 contributions to the Rambler that is in our budget. Does that come from the borough's budget?
Yes, it does. The borough is the last I remember. I don't have the budget in front of me, but the Ramblers received a $5,000 line item from the borough.
Even though the budget was, you budgeted $2,500, but they received $5,000.
Well, if that's what it says there, 2,500, then that's the actual number. Like I said, I don't have it in front of me, and I can't recall.
I would also liken that to how the borough gives money to the Southeast Delco for the after prom. So we could also get into situations. That's why I asked that we filter this conversation through the solicitor, because we'll find that there are a number of community organizations and districts, quasi-governmental organizations that serve the borough that we do give sponsorship dollars to in order to support them in the effectuation of their services to borough residents.
Complaints haven't been about them, they've been about the residents.
I'm just, as management, I'm just providing some understanding for council so that we know that we have a number of organizations that we support throughout the year. The Ramblers is not the only one, so if we're talking about tax dollars, the Ramblers benefit from it, as well as Southeast Delco, as well as whomever else the borough approves of funding to go to support an initiative that has a direct impact on the community. I wave my white flag.
Yeah, so although the borough contributes to an organization, it's not necessarily a government agency. Even the fire department is not under enough custody and control of the borough for the borough to have full access to all their records, all their contracts, everything they do. They are an independent, standalone entity. Although affiliated as a quasi-governmental agency, they're not technically they're not technically part of the borough. But I'm looking into I'll look into the registration and the charitable organization registrations and any other Pennsylvania state registrations to make sure that everything's above board.
Sharon snack stands owned by Sharon Borough, just so you know. So if they can use it, everybody should be able to use it to make some money, because we all could use some money. Oh, I could.
The next public comment card is for Kayla. I'm sorry, did somebody know? Okay, thank you.
Okay, good evening. My name is Kayla Kachi. For those who don't know me, my fiance and I, Dylan, we just moved here in March. We are on 311 Laurel Block. Since moving here, we've really been trying to get involved, meet our neighbors, and do our part to make Sharon Hill an even better place to live. I'm a community organizer at heart. I just wanted to share a couple of quick updates. We had our first Sharon Hill community meetup on June 27th, and our next one is this Saturday, July 18th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Originally it was for Weederwax Field, but it might be inside of Borough Halls again just because of the rain. I can't control the weather. Last Saturday was cleanup supplies from the borough. My fiance, Miss Jackson, a fellow neighbor, her daughter and I cleaned the 100, 200, and 300 blocks of Laurel Road. We're planning on doing this again. Not sure when, but we are planning on doing it again. It wasn't just about picking up trash though. It gave us a chance to meet neighbors, have conversations, and build connections. I also appreciate the borough's assistance in helping organize the community movie night that Mayor Booker mentioned earlier this evening. Originally, we're hoping that it can be outside again on Weederwax Field on July 31st, where residents will help choose the movie, which is one of the things we want to talk about at the Sharon Hill Community Meetup. Is a lot of people, when we did the community meetup, it was just for people on Facebook saying, oh, we want to see this happen, we want to see this happen. I just wanted to get neighbors together, meet them since I was new, and figure out what we could work on together. One of those things was community cleanups, which is why I was there, cleaning up. And the other thing was teen, youth, recreational programming, things for people to do in the community, which is why I brought up the movie night, so we can do something together. Lastly, I'd like to speak as a homeowner and a taxpayer. Tonight's meeting has honestly been difficult to watch, regardless of personal disagreements or what may have happened in the past. The residents of Sharon Hill elected each of you to work together on behalf of this community. We have real issues that deserve your time, energy, and collaboration. It's actually kind of ironic that tonight's agenda includes a quote from Henry Ford, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. I think that's something all of us actually can take to heart. Being a good neighbor starts with how we treat one another. If we expect our residents to work together, we should expect the same from our elected leaders. Our borough deserves leaders who can disagree respectfully, move forward together, and stay focused on making Sharon Hill the best it can be. I'd also like to invite all of you to our Sharon Hill Community Meetup this Saturday. It's simply neighbors talking to neighbors, listening to one another, and working towards solutions together. I think that's something we can all learn from, and I hope to see some of you there. Thank you for your time.
Excuse me, before you leave, don't leave. What was your name again, ma'am?
Oh, I'm Kayla.
Spell it for me.
Oh, Kayla.
And you said your meeting is Saturday.
Yes.
What's the time?
11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I know.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a great night, guys.
Oh, Kayla, and it'll be up on the website tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Are there any other public comments?
Madam President, I do have a response to Kayla. I know she left. And I want to say to the residents, while I am not taking back anything I said because all of it was true, I apologize for the delivery. So Kayla's words are really appropriate, that we should be able to get along. But after going into executive meeting after executive meeting, or being called in February by the Madam President and the solicitor to pull me off of the joint count, the thing that she reports on now after 1 month of being on council, it like sort of blew up. So I totally apologize. For 6 months I've sit up here and held my tongue, even though I'm got handcuffs on me for participating, for doing things. I send email, I have a list of residents who've asked me to do things, and I send them directly to the manager. I have a spreadsheet, and I have every response I've gotten, and none of them are really where I can advocate on behalf of the residents and get something done. I have a resident that's in his late 70s that uses a walker. I asked to reinstate his handicap parking because his caretakers have to park up the street in order to get him. Takes 20 minutes to go out the door. 20 minutes. And if we are elected on behalf of the residents to make difference and do things, you cannot do things when you're playing with mean girl spirit. You cannot do it. And so I asked in the executive meeting, we need to reset. I was told the way I deliver it is wrong. Anyone can watch every meeting since January. Since January. Watch January, February, and March, and watch how many eye rolls you see. Watch how many eye rolls you see when I speak. And anything I spoke about was related to that budget. It was related to me being able to govern as a council. It's related to me getting packets like this the day of the meeting and expected to make real decisions and not just vote based on what someone tells me to do. That it is hard to watch. It is hard to experience. 7 months. I came out of DC. This is way worse than what's going on now.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you for standing up for us.
Are there any other public comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I think it's great what she's doing, but is council sponsoring this movie night? Because I know there's legalities with just letting a resident hold something like that. Are these, in case something happens, it's gonna be covered? You have an incident, it's gonna be covered?
Yeah, Kayla is doing it in conjunction with us.
Okay, so you're gonna put it under you, okay. All right, and I have to go back to the Ramblers, and I just gotta tell you, it's a shame, because this started back because when we were allowed to be on the recreation board, we asked to use the snack stand. And that's when it became like, why? And that's why this has become such a fiasco, is because people back then could not give a couple residents, or at that time, people who were on a board, on a thing, could not give us a straight answer and would not give us, just wanted to tell us to shut up and go away. And that's wrong, because that belongs to the borough, We wanted to make money. You have baseball players out there. We could have, everybody, like they said, everybody wanted to make money, and this came because people were being disrespectful to people asking questions and asking to use that sack stand, and was straight out told no. And if it's Borough, and at that time, I was on council and was told no. And that's why this has escalated, and I just want to put it out there to everybody. That's why this is escalated. That's all I have to say.
Well, I've been quiet. I haven't been saying anything. I'm gonna be quiet after this. I'm just saying this is the truth. The one reason why I'm just quiet, because I mean, honestly, I would love for us to be able to have conversations without being angry. And I know how I can get. And I'm gonna tell you something. I even told Madam President, I told a couple other people, I've been working on my anger issues. I've been meditating, and I got high blood pressure. And maybe some of you have seen a change in me. Some of my counterpartners have seen a change in me, like a calmness. And I'm like, Dad, when do I say something? I don't want to offend anybody. I really don't. And I'm not. I'm gonna just be cool. I'm gonna just say what I need to say respectfully, how I remember it, or if I can speak up for something, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But what I ask is that when we go back and forth, let's do it respectfully, and let's have a conversation. See, we're not really having conversation. We're having a I'm coming at you type of situation, right? And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm speaking general, but it's true. Now, what I recollect, going back to, the wreck and getting in the snack stand, was that we were trying to get a schedule down. We were trying to get that schedule of with the Ramblers or when they were in there, and then when we wanted to get in there based off of whatever events that we were doing. And, during the process of getting that information, there started to be a lot of stuff going on in terms of, just back and forth, even with that rec board, with that. And we could never come to a solution of saying, like, okay, this is the event that we're doing, and this is when we need the snack stand. And then once we got all of that together, then it's still up to council to take that information, because they kept asking me, the people that were on council at that time, saying, hey, do you have a schedule? So that way we can vote on it, we can approve it, and we can get in there and do what we have to do in there when we're having events. We just never got to we just never got that far. Now I'm gonna say this, I'm not pointing any fingers saying it's somebody's fault or this person's fault. We just never got that far. And the other thing I want to attest to, I live in this borough just like everybody else. And, for those that know me, I know everybody in this borough now. Like, I know when I first came out, I was like, Dad, like this person knows everybody. As soon as you say this person's name, everybody knows this person. Everybody knows this coach. Everybody knows me, and people stop me, and when I'm in the market, when I'm walking down the street, when I'm going on my walks. And I'm gonna tell you something, I even have parents and people who call me. I never got a phone call saying, now let me say this, and I'm being open-minded about this. I'm not saying that this is true and this is not true, but I never got a phone call, or a parent never approached me to say that they've been cheated messing with the Ramblers. Or, now some people may say they didn't like some of the services, but they worked it out. Their children still play there. My child was there, and I knew what the process was. No one ever came up to say, this and that was going on. And like I said, it's only me. It's two sides. But I don't hear the talk. I don't hear the talk around town. But that's not to say the talk is not going on. I'm just saying that I do know one thing about Sharon Hill Borough. If it's really a hot doo-doo mess, and it's really like you know, like how we talk about the trash, the cleanliness. Oh, Ramblers will be top topic on Facebook 99% of the time. You know, so I'm just saying, like, you know, let's try to watch how we talk to one another and how we put the news out there, because you know what? You know, there's people that I know that want to invest in this borough, but they say, like, if I invest, why is it so divided like this? Why are we seeing all of this? And we don't only have these people looking, we have insurance companies looking. You know, so there's a lot of things that we, like Kayla said, we have to do. You know, working in government, things take time. It don't happen overnight. There are some things that you can, you know, put in place and you can do. You know, a lot of the you know, irritation that people had about the things that's happening in the boroughs, a lot of comments, not really questions, but I was developing some questions out of those comments, right? And yes, you do have a point. If these residents are not taking care of their properties, we have to come put the hammer down. So there's a question around that, like just taking care of your property. I don't have a driveway. I have a driveway, I take care of it, and I take care out in front of my property like other good, respectable neighbors do, right? And if you don't, then you get penalized. The thing is, like I said before here, our people that we have in place have to be consistent. And we as a body have to make sure that they're being consistent. You know, we have to be up on them. We have the borough manager, but we have to be up on these vendors to make sure that they are doing what they need to do. Well, all I'm gonna say, my last thing, and I'm gonna yield, is that let's have conversations and not come at one another, because guess what? When you start coming like this, you're gonna get tuned out. No one is gonna hear you anymore. And I yield.
Okay, thank you, VP Hill. We're now going to move to the new business section of our agenda. Councilors, we have quite a few items before us for consideration and approval. I'm sorry. What is the comment?
Yeah, no, Rob, I was just running through, I'll tell you every time I speak, I tell you I appreciate your opinion, right? But the community voted to put you guys in to represent us. Each one of you bring a different quality of work to this council. Each one of you. Some of you high standards, some of you low, but each one of you brings it. So if the council ain't on the same page and on the same board, how y'all expect the residents to be on there? That's what I'm telling you. I don't have nothing against nobody who represented. The people put y'all in there for a reason. All y'all got elected. So if y'all respect each other and respect each other's authority, what they bring to the table, and respect each other's opinion and stuff like that, then these things won't happen. I told y'all many times. This place is empty. Y'all will have more people in, and once you guys get it all together, then the residents gonna get it all together. But you can't say, you know, that everybody, I ain't saying you're saying, I'm saying everybody. I know each one of y'all. I don't know y'all personally. I know my wife bring a lot of quality to the table. She bring a lot of smartness. I know Tiny's smart. I know you smart. I see you work around this community and everybody respects you, right? But if y'all ain't respecting each other, I know the mayor is a wonderful guy. Everybody talk about him. Everybody talk about what he brings to the table. Anybody can have a conversation with the mayor. Everybody can't have a conversation with everybody, right? But the mayor be open. The mayor is open. So you're saying, I understand what you're saying about the community. These places should be full with everybody wanting to know what's going on, getting involved with what's going on and everything else. But if you guys start at the top with disbelief or with not connecting with each other, then that's gonna roll over to the community, because the community gonna see it. You see what I'm saying? It starts at the top. If Tanya as president don't have those qualifications to bring y'all together and bring the board together, then the community ain't gonna be together. So it starts with you guys. That's just like me. I'm a superintendent at my building. I got 10 staff under me. If I ain't got my stuff together and I don't trust my staff, that building gonna come down. Something gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And I can't blame the staff because I'm saying, well, I'm not doing my job. So that's why I understand what you're saying. I respect each and every one of y'all. But if y'all ain't got it together, then we have to call y'all on it. So that's where I understand what you're saying. I appreciate it. I hope all y'all, I hope everybody get it together, because this community, everybody love this community. This community needs to be recognized, but it can't. And I'm telling you, 20 years I've been here, I've been coming to the city council. Every time it was always one of the councilors. If it ain't Sharon, Ms. Booker, and her fussing, it's somebody else fussing. So I'm saying to you guys, I love all y'all. I have no disrespect for y'all. I know I come here and I'm always on top, and I don't want people think I'm always fussing. But y'all need to get it together. If y'all can't communicate with each other and get stuff happening in here and get stuff done, y'all do a little stuff like the Rams and all that sometimes. But if y'all don't have the quality and efforts to put y'all self on the top, and then it rolls down to the community, then it will never happen. So that's it. That's all I got to say for that.
I would like to respond, but I'm not.
Madam Clerk, are you prepared to call for motion?
Our first item under new business is a resolution to appoint commissioners to the Historical Commission.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll read briefly this. As discussed at previous meetings, the Historical Commission is currently on, all seats are vacant, and I've worked with Councilor Grabham to reinstate commissioners and get the Historical Commission back off the ground. So, whereas in 1990, the Borough of Sharon Hill established a Historical Commission, which was adopted by the by ordinance number 1200 under chapter 2 of the administrative legislation. Whereas section 22.3 states that the commission will consist of 5 members, with each commission member serving a term of 2 years. The initial appointment shall be 3 members to serve a 2-year term and 2 members to serve a 1-year term. Whereas there are currently no appointed historical commission members, and whereas Borough Council has determined that it's in the best interest of the borough to appoint 5 historical commission members consistent with the initial appointments process set forth in the establishment ordinance. Now therefore be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Sharon Hill that John K. White shall be appointed as a Historical Commission member for a term of 2 years. Kate Smith shall be appointed as a Historical Commission member for a term of 2 years. Michael Piles shall be appointed as a Historical Commission member for a term of 2 years. Loretta Jackson shall be appointed as a Historical Commission member for a term of 1 year. And Tanya Allen shall be appointed as a Historical Commission member for a term of 1 year.
Thank you. Council, you've heard the resolution to appoint commissioners to the Historical Commission. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we appoint commissioners to the Historical Commission. Is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion. All in favor of appointing commissioners to the Historical Commission, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Council. Council, the next item on our new business is a resolution to approve our bank transfer.
As you know, this has been a topic of conversation. Most of these items we have discussed several times. This is just the final move to request council's approval for the resolution. So I don't think we have any. If you have any, we talked about this a lot. I know the packet came when it came, but I just want to make sure if you have any questions, we cover them.
Yeah,
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution that we approve the bank transfer resolution. I'm just going to read this subject as a form of protocol. A resolution of the Borough of Council, a resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Sharon Hill authorizing the transition of the borough's financial institution to Univest Bank and authorizing the appropriate borough officials to take all necessary actions to complete the transition. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of approving the bank transfer, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Motion passes. Thank you, council. Council, the next item is a motion to authorize the execution and submission of a multimodal transportation fund grant application.
So moved.
Let me just read the motion,
Yeah,
the resolution title, please. And then I'll ask for the motion. Just need to get to the page. There's so many of them. Or do you know what page this is?
74.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
I get a lot of information.
So this is a resolution authorizing the execution and submission of a multimodal transportation grant fund. Council, just to remind you, this is one of the resolutions, one of the grants that we talked about applying for the new municipal complex, and this was specifically will focus on pedestrians, streetscape improvements, and the exterior that we talked about. So is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution authorizing the execution and submission of the multimodal transportation fund grant application. Is there any discussion?
So this is in addition, like we get this is in addition to what we already.
Yes.
Okay.
Separate money. Any other discussion or questions?
The imagine grant?
This one
Is 30%, I believe.
30% match.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor of approving the authorization of an execution and submission of a multimodal transportation fund grant application, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Alright. Motion to adopt, the next item is a motion to adopt the honorary street sign ordinance. This one.
Sure, so the title of the ordinance, which was duly advertised and made available to the public, is an ordinance of the Borough of Sharon Hill establishing an honorary street designation policy as Chapter 7 under Part 1 Administrative Legislation of the Sharon Hill Borough Code of Ordinances. And again, we've discussed this several times. This technically does not need to be codified through ordinance, but we thought it was a good idea to have something permanent on the books that can be accessed on the website and on the E-code site for residents to submit applications and requests for honorary street designations. And that's why we went with an actual formalized ordinance, so it's essentially there more firmly than a resolution.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the honorary street sign ordinance. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of adopting the honorary street sign ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you, council. Council, we need a motion to approve an honorary street sign for Jalen Duran.
Are we tabling that?
No.
Not approving the sign, just the specifics of the sign will work on. I mean, was there something else to it that we need to hold for?
We have a resolution prepared, but we can certainly table it. This was BPL's agenda item, so I'll defer to him.
So the resolution, what was the resolution? To have the sign for Jalen.
Yes.
There was, I believe it says a motion to authorize. So it's not a,
It's to
It's-
authorize the acquisition and installation of a sign.
right. I just wanted to make sure we all knew that there was no resolution attached to this. That we were just, there was a request for a motion to authorize the actual acquisition. But I wasn't certain if we were going to table that and ratify at another time, or?
Right? Not, well, he was saying like that reason, or just they were both on at the same time.
I just wanna make sure we have what we need so that we can get the signs prepared for
We do have everything that we need, but I want to make sure that everyone has a copy of that. And that's why I asked if we table so that we can ensure that everyone had an opportunity to view everything. Well, we will be able to ratify at the next public meeting, which would not interfere with the acquisition.
So are the outstanding items related to just the install and those, the labor or the work to get the sign? I'm just wondering.
The ordinance prescribes that a resolution of Borough Council approving the designation as well as the acquisition and installation of the sign should accompany must accompany a honorary street designation.
And that's not packaged, is it? It's not a package for that yet, is it?
Yes, there is a package for the application, everything related to the ordinance. That's been advertised, we already proved that that's good to go. For the actual first request, right, the first request.
That's what I'm talking about.
I did receive the information, but I did not receive it in time to include it in the packet, which is why I'm requesting that council table the item so that you have an opportunity to view it and understand costs. And we can ratify at the next meeting, but I do already have the costs, so we have enough lead time to ensure that it's prepared.
That makes sense.
I read the cost.
Okay, so council,
the two items then, for the approval of the street signs, we will table both of them, well, we won't move those tonight. Okay?
Right.
All right, thank you. The next one is a motion to advertise the bids for alleyway repaving project.
This is, again, a topic that we have discussed several times. Our engineer also brought it up this evening. We identified the streets previously. I provided that information for council. I also provided the cost spec for council at the time in which the grant was applied for, what the estimated costs were. So now that we're going out for bids, as it was explained, we will have to receive new bids. And we would be applying a metric to decide, again, as our engineer explained, how we want to address the red alleys that are identified on your sheet.
Okay. Council, is there a motion to advertise the bids for the alleyway repaving project?
So moved.
Thank you, it's been moved and seconded that we advertise bids for the alleyway repaving project. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of advertising bids for the alleyway repaving project, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. Council, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented, which details the general fund balance of $1,788,653.66 as of June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the treasurer's report as presented. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to ask, that we table this approval, given that we have a new budget report and we didn't have time to review it. So approving it, it will feel like we're approving it in line.
Council, if you, would anyone prefer?
Yeah, this budget is for June. It's June.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor of approving the treasurer's report as presented, which details the general fund balance of $1,788,653.66 as of June 30th, 2026, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
Motion passes, thank you. Council, we need a motion to approve the series of bills and invoices totaling $576,106.69. This will include bills and invoices received after this public meeting, which must be paid before the next council meeting upon approval by the council.
So moved.
So moved and seconded that we approve our series of bills and invoices. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion. All in favor of approving our bills and invoices totaling $576,106.69, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. Council, are there the last item of business on our agenda is the approval of our legislative meeting minutes. Are there any corrections to the May 21st, 2026 legislative meeting minutes?
Shouldn't it be June's?
June minutes.
I didn't see anything.
In June, May should have been approved.
It's May. We've had a high volume of calls and other things coming into Borough Hall, so it's been difficult for us to stay on top of the minutes. But it is a task of my team to make sure that we can have more minutes turned out. It's just, sometimes it's challenging to be able to turn out a level of information that covers the variety of topics discussed at the meetings.
Thank you. So the minutes, council, in your packet are, as dated May 21st, 2026. Are there any corrections to the minutes, council?
I have two. Well, one question, George, Borough Manager. I noticed on the last couple of minutes, next to my name, it says no report. I just want to get clarity because I know I'm not listed on the agenda officially, but every month I do provide a report since I'm not on the agenda. I do see notes from what I did provide at the end, so I'm wondering whether we should amend the minutes just to move that, because when it says no report, there's an assumption that I'm not reporting on any of the work that's happening.
If you could just provide a copy of what you shared.
It's in the minutes. It's at the back though.
Right. So
there's
to
an
answer,
opportunity, Joy, here for us to do some other correcting as I'm looking at
No worries.
the holding. Yes, if we can remove Councilor Fleming from public health, no report, and keep it included as Councilor Fleming's report as under, I believe, new business where it has been reported, and that would correct that. And then we can also remove junior council report as we don't have one convened right now. But until, so that to the point that she just made, so that it doesn't appear that she's not presenting her committee report, let's put it in the right place, please.
But one amendment, Madam President, is it possible for my name and public health to be listed at the top of the report when all the other councils give theirs? That way it may not get lost.
That's an ask for the agenda?
Yeah, it's an ask for the agenda. That way it'll be.
Okay. So if that is your pleasure, because at your request to not be the public health liaison, we removed it from the committee section. But if it is your request to rejoin the rest of the council under committee updates, that is not a problem.
Just one point of clarification. When just so the public knows, when I said not to be, I did not want an appointment from Madam President that she can retract the way she did with the other appointment.
So just to be clear,
I'll follow up.
we can move that back, and we'll find the designation since there is no committee. And just to further clarify, liaison appointments are designated by the council president. All of them.
I also think there was a small misunderstanding. No report meaning no verbal communication during the time. So at the time when Mr. Felder said he didn't have anything to report, there was nothing he was verbally going to communicate. So I think that's actually part of the, maybe misunderstanding, was no verbal communication.
It was verbal, it's in a minute, I did report.
What did Mr. Felder do?
You didn't, you said, I don't have anything to report, because you reported it the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
All we did.
I know, but that's why it says no report.
Right, because this was alleged, and we had the caution previously.
Council, and so, yeah, Madam Borough Manager, we can just, streamline or indicate when reports are not given because they were given prior, that you can just refer back to the caucus, reporting. So council, is there a motion to approve the, minutes for the May 21st, 2026 meeting with the, amendments that were submitted or shared? Motion to approve with the changes.
So moved.
Thank you. And it's been moved and seconded that we adopt our minutes with the changes that have been shared for May 26th. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of adopting the minutes for Thursday, May 21st, 2026 with the amendments that were shared, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, the minutes will be adopted with the changes. Council, that concludes all of our new items. I'm sorry, wait a second. Got rid of yes. That concludes all the items we have under new business. Under old business, the only item we have is traffic calming. And Madam Borough Manager, I know you do ask me if we want to keep it here. I think we can at this time remove this since Chief Johnson has been addressing traffic calming in his report, and the engineer as well. Are there any other items of old business? Hearing no other items, is there any other business, council, at this time?
I'd like to give my report on the public health work group. Just want the community to know that the public health work group is growing and still very active. We, as the solicitor said, we've worked and talked, discussed, and made some decisions around the ordinance that we proposed for council to vote on, and who we propose to be our commissioners. Those names have been submitted. We have already solidified Academy Park as the place for the upcoming Healthy Communities Expo. We currently have commitments from a couple of other boroughs, including Prospect Park. We've been working with State Representative Dave DeLoso, who also has a health resource fair that day, and we're organizing to make sure that this is more of a regional event. We are partnering also with folks in Collindale. We've reached out to the borough presidents for all of the lower Delaware County, so that is more than just Sharon Hill. As you guys know, we are in a healthcare desert. It took me 8 months to get an appointment with a primary care provider once the hospitals closed down. And I'm relatively healthy, so I can imagine for our seniors, disabled, sickly residents, how hard it is to do that. We've done some work, as I reported, I think 2 months ago, we applied for a grant with DeSigra. We're still waiting on that. We have been very successful with doing some of our fundraising efforts. We've got a lot of commitments. We will have to make some pivots after today's conversation in executive session, but the working group will discuss that offline. And we've been offered 2 nonprofits to work with, but we were really trying to get money to go through the borough to raise resources that way. So we will have to reset for that work. We also are now starting to work on the October 10th 3K, 5K walk run. And that also we have been successful of getting some sponsors to do that. We have a list of banks that have already agreed to sponsor us. We have already got gift cards, supplies and things like that. I do need to retract with them now that I know we are quasi entity of the borough and not official. And so I need to make sure there's transparency that the money and resources will not go through the borough, but through a nonprofit. The committee has been very active, very active, reaching out to vendors. We have over 30 healthcare vendors, as we speak, that we have been, in contact with and who have confirmed. We will have a couple of different, we have asked for a healthy children's zone, an active, senior zone. So we've been doing a lot of work over the last couple of months to really make sure that the Healthy Communities Expo is really engaging and really wonderful for our residents, but also for our neighboring residents, because healthcare is not just a Sharon Hill issue, it's all of our issue. So I just wanted to give that report and make sure that folks know we will have something posted by this weekend on the Public Health Working Group.
For clarity, Councilor Fleming, are you saying now that you no longer want to pursue the Public Health Commission as being a borough commission and with an account, and you're now moving to be a quasi-governmental structure?
No,
Okay.
I didn't say any of that.
That's kind of what I heard when you said we have to make some adjustments
Pivot
now.
for the sponsorships. I thought you said we can collect sponsorships, but the money don't go through the borough. We should do it as a quasi-experimental, and I thought the example you gave was the work that Jalen, but any grants, I had to get approval from borough and all of those things that need to happen,
But
right?
just for clarity, I did share, and correct me if I'm wrong, Council, I shared that I don't have an issue with anyone going after sponsorships.
Right.
What I said though was in the context of being a borough like Shack. Let's just use Shack for an example. If it's Shack and Shack wants to go after sponsorships, I don't have an issue with that. If it's Jalen Duran and they want to go after sponsorship, I don't have anything to do with that anyway. Right? That Jalen Duran, quasi-governmental. Shack is more governmental because they have an account. What you said is that you have to make some adjustments because...
Not to the commission.
Okay.
And we would still need a bank account so when we're applying for grants for the commission. Right now, we're operating as a quasi-experimental public health working group. That's what I understood. And if we don't have things in place right now for accepting monies through the borough, then we could pivot and actually work with our nonprofit partners for sponsorships, not for grants.
So you do intend on moving forward with your request for the commission?
I never said I wasn't.
So you okay. All right, thank you.
I think that's a yes.
Yes,
She
thank
says
you.
to move forward. I understand that the clarity you were seeking, but I think we can just go with the yes. Okay. Is there any other business, council? Okay. Hearing no other business for this meeting, our next meeting is going to be the legislative meeting for Thursday, August 20th, 2026. Again, in August, we won't have a caucus, only the legislative meeting. And if there's no other business, we can call our meeting adjourned at 10:23 p.m. Thank you.